Chapter 4888. Outside Nether Sky City, inside the Great Devastation Demon Array, Gu Fei triggered his own heavenly tribulation. This was no ordinary heavenly tribulation. Rather, it was the heavenly tribulation triggered by him taking that legendary step. Throughout the years, there were no more than 10 recorded people who could take that step. Taking that step was simply too difficult. Since ancient times, who knows how many peerless monstrous geniuses had appeared in Eternal World? Who knows how many peerless monstrous geniuses had never been able to take that step? For Gu Fei to be able to take that step, he had been somewhat lucky. Originally, he had wanted to borrow the power of others to display the true power of the Great Heaven Devastation Palm. Unexpectedly, when Gu Fei gathered the power of dozens of eternal sovereigns, he gained an epiphany. It all happened too suddenly. Even he was not prepared for it. Still, since he had taken that step, Gu Fei would not back down. Roar! Gu Fei roared into the sky, and extremely violent power fluctuations erupted from his body. The dozens of eternal existences who had lent their power to him were all stunned by this scene. Even the eternal sovereigns found it hard to breathe due to the supreme pressure that erupted from Gu Fei's body. The surrounding eternal sovereigns retreated far away. Gu Fei triggered his heavenly tribulation with all his might. Rumble! Outside the world-ending demon array, the heavens and earth were dark. The terrifying tribulation clouds were constantly increasing in size. Bolts of lightning tore through the void, and a terrifying aura of destruction spread out from within the tribulation clouds. Countless living beings felt their souls trembling. This madman! Seeing the tribulation clouds enveloping the world and the power of heavenly tribulation condensing, the patriarchs of the pure-blooded demons could no longer sit still. If they did not want to help Gu Fei overcome his tribulation, they would have to remove the Great Devastation Demon Array. However, once they removed the Great Devastation Demon Array, it would be impossible for them to wipe out all the experts of the various races in Eternal World. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to wipe out the eternal sovereigns of the various races in Eternal World once and for all. Then, the pure-blooded demons would once again dominate Eternal World. The 6 pure-blood demons did not want to miss this opportunity. However, powerful bolts of lightning began to descend from the tribulation clouds in the sky. Each bolt of lightning was as huge as a mountain. This was the first wave of heaven's retribution. Countless lightning bolts struck down from the tribulation clouds, but they were all blocked by the world-destroying demon formation of the pure-blood demons. As for Gu Fei, who was within the World Annihilation Demon Array, he was completely unharmed. That was because the countless lightning powers did not strike his body at all. The patriarchs of the 6 great pure-blood demons were scared out of their wits. When the last tribulation lightning struck, they thought they couldn't hold on any longer. The power of the last tribulation lightning was too strong. It was so terrifying that it could destroy heaven and earth. However, the World Annihilation Demon Formation was still able to block it. As for the World Annihilation Demon Array, it was shaken by the last tribulation lightning. At this time, whether it was the pure-blood demons, the Human Alliance, or the Alien Eternals, they were all stunned by this scene. However, after the tribulation lightning, earth, water, fire, and wind emerged from the tribulation clouds. A terrifying aura of destruction spread in all directions. The second wave of heaven's retribution was immediately launched. The 4 great powers of earth, water, wind, and fire descended from the sky and directly engulfed the World Annihilation Demon Array. Countless experts were stunned when they saw this scene. Hold on! Everyone attack! Demon Sovereign Zhuiying's voice spread throughout the battlefield. Countless eyes were staring at Gu Fei. The next moment, the entire World Annihilation Demon Array shook. A layer of demonic fire emerged from the Demon Array, but it was rapidly weakening. Countless demonic patterns appeared within the World Annihilation Demon Array. Each pattern was dissipating as if they had never appeared. The entire Demon Array shook violently. The 6 pure-blood demons were quite frightened. Once the World Annihilation Demon Array was blasted apart by Gu Fei's Heaven's Retribution, the pure-blood demons wouldn't be the only ones who would die. The demon ancestors of the pure-blood demons were frantically operating the World Annihilation Demon Array. At this point, Gu Fei had attracted everyone's attention. The four primal powers of earth, water, fire, and wind were wreaking havoc outside the World Annihilation Demon Array, wearing away at its power. The demon ancestors controlling the array were struggling to hold on. Even Demon Sovereign Jiuying was coughing up blood. The Eternal Ones from the martial Extreme Immortal Sect and the Eternal Immortal Sect joined forces to set up the ultimate martial defensive formation again, trapping the human army inside. Even Wu Jixian and the others had entered the ultimate martial guardian array. Alright, I refuse to believe that I can't break this devil formation. Gu Fei was determined. His body glowed with light, and in the next moment, he shot up into the sky and slammed into the World Annihilation Demon Array like a sun. The dazzling light that erupted from his body illuminated the entire world. Boom! With a loud bang, the ball of divine light that Gu Fei had transformed into slammed into the layer of demonic light formed by the peerless demonic formation, causing the entire demonic formation to shake violently. Cracks began to appear on the incomparably ancient demonic runes. Seeing this, Demon Sovereign Jiuying's expression turned solemn. Gu Fei was actually attacking the World Annihilation Demon Array. This kid was trying to break through the World Annihilation Demon Array in one fell swoop. But the World Annihilation Demon Array was truly powerful. Boom! There was another earth-shattering explosion as Gu Fei slammed into the World Annihilation Demon Array again, causing the entire formation to shake violently. More and more cracks appeared on this peerless demonic formation. Even Gu Fei was afraid of himself when he went all out. He slammed into it dozens of times in a row, breaking through the World Annihilation Demon Array and charging out. Venerable. As soon as he emerged, boundless heavenly tribulation energy surged toward him, engulfing him. Demon Sovereign Jiuying and the rest actually released Gu Fei. Even if they didn't release Gu Fei would still be able to break through the World Annihilation Demon Array and charge out. It would just take him a little longer. After the pure-blooded demon sovereigns released Gu Fei, the entire world boiled and the terrifying destructive energy increased by several folds. Then, the World Annihilation Demon Array of the pure-blooded demons was unlucky. The eruption of the heavenly tribulation energy tore a hole in it. In the next moment, a pure-blooded demon sovereign that was in charge of the array exploded. His body and soul were instantly destroyed. This kind of heavenly tribulation that surpassed eternity was extremely terrifying. This kind of power could be described as destroying the world. Then, a scene that made the pure-blooded demons despair appeared. Gu Fei actually brought along the heavenly tribulation and entered the World Annihilation Demon Array again. Then, the entire World Annihilation Demon Array was continuously destroyed by the power of the heavenly tribulation. Does this feel good? Haha! Seeing countless pure-blooded demon sovereigns being destroyed by the power of the heavenly tribulation, Gu Fei laughed maniacally. His voice reverberated throughout the world. It was too satisfying. The vermilion bird flapped its wings and boundless divine fire instantly covered the heavens and earth, burning the void. The formless power of the wind transformed into a nearly transparent white tiger. For spirits? Everyone who saw this scene was shocked to the extreme. These were no ordinary four spirits, but the most primitive and ancient of the four great spirit beasts. They were the four ancestral spirits. Although they were only phantoms of the four ancestral spirits, the energy fluctuations that erupted from them were terrifying. Any one of the four ancestral spirits could easily destroy an eternal one. At this moment, Gu Fei was engaged in a fierce battle with the primogenitor's four spirits. He was intentionally directing the destructive power towards the pure-blooded demons. Countless pure-blood demons were instantly reduced to ash by the shockwaves of the battle. As for the human army, the Eternal Immortal Sect and the Martial Peak Immortal Sect controlled the ultimate martial fortification grand formation and led the human cultivators and outsider experts away. No one could have predicted that this heaven-shaking, earth-shattering battle would develop to this point. Gu Fei alone was far more powerful than the human and outsider alliance. Of course, Gu Fei was only doing this because he was borrowing the power of the heavenly tribulation. That said, it was enough to show how powerful Gu Fei was. One had to know that ordinary people would not be able to withstand the bombardment of the heavenly tribulation, but he did. At this moment, Gu Fei unleashed all of his abilities and battled with the 4 primogenitor spirits. This heavenly tribulation was incomparably terrifying. Ordinary heavenly tribulations weren't this strong. That was because Gu Fei's heavenly tribulation had transformed into the 4 ancestral spirits. The will of heaven and earth had manifested itself. Heavenly tribulations like this weren't common at all. In next to no time, Gu Fei's left shoulder was swept by the claw of the azure dragon formed from the energy of water. His left shoulder was instantly badly mangled, and the wound was so deep that even his bones were exposed. Gu Fei was sent flying by the azure dragon's claws. Roar! The earthly black tortoise charged over again. Like a huge mountain, it drew the endless power of the earth and pressed down on Gu Fei. Venerable! Heaven and earth shook. The might of the black tortoise's attack was extremely powerful, and even some of the pure-blooded devilish beings that had fled over 100,000 kilometers away were reduced to clouds of blood mist by the destructive power that swept through the surrounding area, and their bodies and souls were instantly annihilated. At this moment, even Underworld Sky City, which had existed since ancient times, was affected. Cracks appeared on the city walls one after another, and the entire city looked like it could collapse at any moment. Damn it! Gu Fei pushed his hands up, and a powerful force erupted from them in an attempt to block the black tortoise of the earth that was descending from the sky. Just as Gu Fei was fighting the black tortoise of the earth with all his might, the vermilion bird of fire had already arrived. The vermilion bird's sharp claws swiped at Gu Fei's head. Void Formula! Gu Fei had no choice but to use the Void Formula, one of the 9 secrets of the immortal path. In the next moment, all the power that was heading for Gu Fei was turned into nothingness by the power that came from Gu Fei's body. He took the opportunity to break free from the seal of the black tortoise of the earth. Ancestral swords. Gu Fei immediately executed the 9 heaven-punishing swords. 9 peerless sword moves were fused into a single move, and this 10th move was the legendary Myriad Sword Origin. In the next moment, countless sword shadows rushed out of Gu Fei's body. These sword shadows filled the sky and pierced through the ancestral 4 spirits. This was Gu Fei's strongest sword technique. The countless sword shadows pierced through the ancestral 4 spirits that were coming for him. However, although the ancestral 4 spirits were pierced by the sword shadows, they did not seem to suffer much damage. They continued to charge at Gu Fei with their claws and fangs bared. Gu Fei was dumbfounded. How could he get rid of the primogenitor's 4 spirits? He could only fight the ancestral 4 spirits. However, if this went on, he would be in danger. He could not replenish the yuan qi that he had expended, while the power of the heavenly tribulation was endless. His yuan qi would eventually be depleted. When that time came, he would have to give up his life here. The killing array that the pure-blooded demons had set up outside Underworld Sky City was affected by the power of the heavenly tribulation and collapsed. The devouring heaven demon lord, Black Phoenix demon lord, and the rest who were trapped in Underworld Sky City rushed out immediately. After escaping with their lives, these human demon lords were stunned by the scene in front of them. Gu Fei used the heaven-treading steps and chased after the pure-blooded demons. This detestable guy. Chapter 4890. The heavenly tribulation that Gu Fei triggered was world-shaking. The aura of devastation descending from the sky was monstrous. Not only were the billions of living beings on the nether continent terrified, even the living beings on the neighboring continents were feeling uneasy. As for Gu Fei's tribulation, it would appear that the most unfortunate ones were not Gu Fei, who was in the midst of his tribulation. Rather, it was the pure-blooded demons who were running away like rats. The war between the humans and the foreign races against the pure-blooded demons had been changed because of one man, one heavenly tribulation. The higher-ups of the pure-blooded demons were probably so depressed that they could puke blood. Even if the humans and the foreign races were to join forces, they would still be no match for the pure-blooded demons. The pure-blooded demons were already prepared to rule the world and become the main characters of Eternal World once more. And yet, Gu Fei had chosen this moment to step forward and trigger an extremely terrifying heavenly tribulation. The pure-blooded demons' heavenly devastation array had been broken. Even the army of pure-blooded demons had been scattered by Gu Fei. The power of the heavenly tribulation rampaged around him. Everywhere he went, countless pure-blooded demons would be instantly obliterated, in both body and soul. Even Yi Tianming, a pure-blooded earth demon, was struck by a bolt of invisible tribulation lightning. His entire left arm was instantly reduced to ashes. Scared out of his wits, he immediately unleashed a secret art and disappeared without a trace. If even Yi Tianming was incapable of enduring the power of the heavenly tribulation, the others were even less capable. Even the Grand Elder of the pure-blooded extreme demons, Demon Monarch 9, had to flee. There was no other way about it. The power of the heavenly tribulation represented the will of Eternal World. By then, the demon forefathers of the pure-blooded demons had simply kept their fellow demon forefathers into their inner worlds before fleeing for their lives. There were quite a number of demon forefathers amongst the 6 pure-blooded demons. Gu Fei alone was simply incapable of stopping so many fleeing demon forefathers. And yet he had his eyes on the pure-blooded extreme demons, Demon Monarch 9. He couldn't let this guy go. As Gu Fei fought the 4 primogenitor spirits formed by the power of the heavenly tribulation, he chased after Demon Sovereign 9. At this moment, the leader of the pure-blooded lunar demons, Yin Jitian, had already sensed that something was amiss. He had already recalled his demons into his inner world and escaped. He didn't care about 9 Demon Sovereign's life or death. Gu Fei had already locked on to Demon Sovereign 9. No matter where this fellow fled to, he would be able to chase after him immediately. What made Demon Sovereign 9 terrified was that this fellow even brought along the heavenly tribulation to chase after him. If it weren't for this little fellow from the human race chasing after him with the heavenly tribulation, he would have long turned around and killed this little fellow from the human race. He wouldn't be as depressed as he was now. It was especially so for Yin Jitian, who had actually run away on his own. This shocked and angered him. Fortunately, he had the extreme demonic hammer to protect him. Otherwise, the heavenly tribulation would have left him with serious injuries. Let's go back and get even with him. Demon Sovereign 9 Yin's rage burned through the 9 heavens. Even so, Demon Sovereign 9 Yin, who had been specially taken care of by Gu Fei, was still being tortured by the 4 primordial powers of earth, water, wind, and fire. Why are you biting me? It's not like I offended you. Demon Sovereign 9 Yin was depressed. This little fellow from the human race wasn't chasing after Yi Tianming or the water spirit devil maiden. Instead, he was biting me. Why was he doing this? I'm going to kill you! At this moment, Gu Fei's figure suddenly disappeared. In the next moment, the 4 primordial spirits actually charged towards Demon Sovereign 9 like crazy. What? Demon Sovereign 9 was shocked. He wasn't the one undergoing the heavenly tribulation, so why were the 4 primordial spirits formed by the power of the heavenly tribulation rushing towards him? In the next moment, he knew the reason. Gu Fei had actually appeared behind him without any warning and hugged him tightly from behind. You! Demon Sovereign 9 was scared out of his wits. Although he had the extreme demonic hammer to protect him, the extreme demonic hammer was in a dormant state. It was impossible for it to wake up in a short period of time. Demon Sovereign 9 desperately stimulated the demonic essence in his body. A powerful demonic power erupted from his body as he tried to break free from Gu Fei's hold. However, Gu Fei was desperately hugging him. From the looks of it, it was as if he wanted to perish together with Demon Sovereign 9. Demon Sovereign 9 did not want to die. He had just escaped from the Underworld God Palace on Underworld God Island. He was a free bird in the sky and a fish in the ocean. He had yet to go all out in Eternal World. How could he be willing to die in the hands of a little human? Trying to escape? Dream on! Gu Fei coughed out blood. The powerful power that erupted from Demon Sovereign Nine Yin's body caused his blood to churn and his bones to feel like they were about to fall apart. However, he still hugged Demon Sovereign Nine Yin tightly. Boom! At this moment, the primogenitor's four spirits had already arrived. They fiercely collided with Gu Fei and Demon Sovereign Nine Yin. No! Demon Sovereign Nine Yin let out an unwilling roar. In the next moment, his demonic body was instantly turned into ashes. Even his primordial spirit was directly dispersed. Both his body and soul were instantly destroyed. A demonic hammer fell from the sky. Even the heavenly tribulation could not damage this demonic hammer in the slightest. At this moment, the primogenitor's four spirits dissipated in the void. The tribulation clouds in the sky also quickly dispersed. The terrifying heavenly tribulation had released its final and strongest power before dissipating. A blood-stained figure stood quietly in the sky. That person was Gu Fei. Gu Fei suddenly smiled. Then, his arms and legs turned to dust, followed by his body and finally his head. Just like the Nine Yin Devil Sovereign, his body and soul seemed to have been destroyed. Seeing this scene, all the experts of the human race were stunned. Perishing together with the enemy. That is what a true hero is. He is the pride of our human race. He is worthy of the respect of all races. All the eternal sovereigns of the human race, be it the righteous path or the demonic path, were incomparably grateful to Gu Fei. It was because of him that they could win this war. It was also because of him that the countless living beings of eternal world had avoided a great calamity. This amount of merit was the equivalent of saving the world. If it was a major expert from the Buddha clan who obtained this merit, he would definitely be qualified to become the Buddha Lord of the Buddha clan. He will be remembered by all the living beings of eternal world. We should create a biography for him so that all the living beings of eternal world will remember him. The human race and alien race experts reached a consensus. It did not take long for the story of a person called Gu Fei to save eternal world to spread throughout eternal world. This was something that Gu Fei had never expected. At that moment, Gu Fei's consciousness seemingly fell into an endless darkness. After an unknown amount of time, he suddenly woke up and found himself lying on the ice-cold ground. He hastily sat up only to find that he was not lying on the ground. Rather, it was an altar. It was unknown when this ancient altar had been built. The surroundings were silent, and the sky was dark. When Gu Fei looked down at the altar, he was shocked. Chapter 4891. The Nether Continent War had ended. With Nether Sky City as the center, the area within a radius of millions of miles was littered with corpses. Countless humans and alien races had fallen. On the other hand, the pure-blood demon race had also suffered heavy losses. The army of the 6 pure-blood demon race had been crippled. The leader of the pure-blood wood demon race, Mu Hingxing, the leader of the pure-blood demon race, Jiao Yin demon lord, and the leader of the pure-blood fire demon race, Hua Tinkong, had died in battle. Jin Hun, the patriarch of the pure-blood golden demon tribe, had also died in battle. 2 of the patriarchs of the 6 pure-blood demons had died at Gu Fei's hands. Gu Fei's accomplishments were truly unparalleled. The remaining pure-blood demons had all fled. The allied armies of humans and alien races had begun to encircle and annihilate the remaining pure-blood demons. Of course, although the pure-blooded demon clan was defeated, the power of the pure-blooded demon clan should not be underestimated. Among the 6 pure-blooded demon clans, the clan masters of the pure-blooded earth demon clan, the pure-blooded water demon clan, the pure-blooded Tai Yin demon clan and even the pure-blooded golden demon clan were still alive. The patriarchs of the 4 pure-blood demons were all genuine eternal realm demons. Their cultivation bases were incomparably powerful. The strength of the 6 pure-blood demons was still present. Of course, it would be impossible for the pure-blood demons to launch another war that could engulf the entire eternal world any time soon. The Nether Continent War had ended, but sporadic battles continued. At that moment, Gu Fei appeared in a mysterious place. He had never intended to perish together with demon sovereign Jiuying. After all, he had mastered the 9 secrets of the immortal Tao. Among the 9 secrets of the immortal Tao, there was a secret technique called emergence. This secret technique was related to the essence of life. Even if one's primordial spirit was destroyed, it could still be reformed and reborn. However, Gu Fei had severely underestimated the power of the heavenly tribulation and had nearly died. That was close. When Gu Fei woke up, he realized that he was on an ancient altar. There were blazing fireplates around the altar, and below the altar, there were many people kneeling on the ground. Seeing this scene, Gu Fei was really a little dumbfounded. I am actually being offered as a tribute? To whom? At this moment, when the people below the altar saw Gu Fei suddenly sitting up on the altar, they were all so scared that they knelt on the ground and shivered. Lying at the very front, like a priest, was an old man with a bone staff in his hand, feathers of an unknown bird stuck in his head, and mysterious ornaments hung all over his body. He seemed to be praying. The priest was speaking in a language that Gu Fei did not understand. Primitive? A primitive tribe. Damn, did I transmigrate? Have we returned to the ancient, uncivilized era? Gu Fei was dumbfounded. This was definitely not eternal world. He could sense the pulse of the world here. It was very strange. The worldly laws here seemed much stronger compared to the worldly laws of eternal world. My cultivation base. At this moment, Gu Fei suddenly broke out in cold sweat. He could no longer sense his power. His dantian was empty. How was this possible? His powerful primordial chaos origin energy had disappeared just like that. Even his divine sense had become very weak, only able to cover a radius of a few li. Gu Fei was so excited that he nearly fell off the altar. He could no longer sense the inner world that he had opened up. How could this be? What happened? Why did I suddenly fall to the bottom? Do I have to cultivate again? Heavens, don't play with me like this. Gu Fei wanted to cry, but no tears came out. His cultivation base had disappeared. However, the worldly spiritual energy here was extremely thick. Especially around the ancient altar, the spiritual energy here was so thick that it could be seen with the naked eye. Every time he breathed, worldly spiritual energy would surge into his body. However, the spiritual energy that surged into his body would disappear. It was not converted into his own energy. How could this be? Gu Fei was shocked. This was the first time he had encountered such a situation. The worldly spiritual energy that he had absorbed into his body would not disappear for no reason. His body seemed to have undergone some changes that even he did not know about. But now, he was even more eager to know what this place was and what these primitive people were worshipping. The shaman was also not speaking the common language of eternal world. However, this was not a problem for Gu Fei. With a thought, a divine sense invaded the old shaman's sea of wisdom and read the old shaman's memories. This was a human tribe known as the Black Mountain Tribe. The people of this tribe worshipped the mountain god and viewed the mountain god as their god. This altar was built to worship the mountain god. Gu Fei finally knew how he came to this place. From the old shaman's memories, Gu Fei knew everything. He had been lying on the altar for 3 days and 3 nights. On a night 3 days ago, when the shaman of the Black Mountain Tribe was leading the tribe to worship the mountain god, the sky above the altar suddenly changed. Then, a vortex appeared in the sky above the altar. Then, a person appeared on the altar. Everyone in the Black Mountain Tribe saw the god descending from the sky and they were all terrified. They did not know what to do. Everyone in the Black Mountain Tribe saw Gu Fei as the mountain god descending. Every day, they would come to worship him. However, no one dared to step onto the altar. This place was a wild world. Everything was very primitive. The things that the old shaman knew were very limited. However, this world was no longer the eternal world. Gu Fei thought to himself, could it be that when I was undergoing heavenly tribulation, the power of heavenly tribulation broke through the world barrier and I entered another world? However, from the memories of the old shaman, Gu Fei knew that there were also cultivators in this world. Those cultivators often came and went. The mountain god that the Black Mountain tribe worshipped was actually a living being that had achieved success in cultivation. That living being had long disappeared. However, even the old shaman did not know what kind of world this was. The old shaman's knowledge was limited to the area within a radius of 100 miles of the Black Mountain Ridge. Other than the Black Mountain tribe, there was also the Fire Bear tribe, the Sky Wolf tribe, and the Gold Lion tribe. These were all human tribes. This was simply a primitive world. There was a city a few hundred miles away from here. Gu Fei guessed that he would find the answers he wanted there. Grandpa Mountain God has appeared. Grandpa Mountain God has appeared. After reading the old shaman's memories with his divine sense, Gu Fei finally knew what the old shaman was talking about. This guy actually thought he was the mountain god. It was really funny. I came here for no reason. How do I go back? Gu Fei muttered to himself as he stood up from the altar. Then, he jumped down from the altar. He lost his balance and rolled down the stairs, landing in front of the old shaman. I've lost so much face this time. Chapter 4892. After Gu Fei came to this primeval world, his cultivation mysteriously disappeared. He jumped off the altar, but he didn't manage to stand properly. Instead, he rolled down the steps of the altar. When the old shaman saw their Grandpa Mountain God tumbling down from the altar, he was so frightened that his body started to tremble. Their Grandpa Mountain God hadn't shown himself for more than 10 years. Every time he showed himself, he would have to offer a sacrifice. If he angered Grandpa Mountain God, many of his tribesmen would be killed. Gu Fei quickly stood up and patted the dust off his body. Get up! Gu Fei said in the local language. Grandpa Mountain God spoke? The old shaman who was lying on the ground was even more terrified. The countless people behind him were also extremely terrified. Not only did they not get up, but they also lay down even lower, their heads touching the ground. If you don't get up, I'm going to get angry. Gu Fei cleared his throat and said. Since the people here treated him as a god, then he might as well be a god for once. Yes. The priest stood up shakily. The others followed suit, but no one dared to look at Gu Fei. They all lowered their heads and looked at the ground. They respected Gu Fei very much. No one spoke, and the situation was a little awkward. You are Grandpa Mountain God? Just then, a childish voice rang out. All the tribesmen below the altar were shocked. Their expressions changed, and they all knelt on the ground in fear. Grandpa Mountain God, please don't be angry. The old shaman hurriedly prostrated himself on the ground, terrified to the extreme. Little girl, kowtow to Grandpa Mountain God. Just then, Gu Fei saw a little girl being pulled by her mother to kowtow to him. Her innocent eyes were looking at him curiously. The little girl was only 5 or 6 years old. She did not seem to know fear and did not know that she had caused trouble. Seeing that Gu Fei did not speak, a middle-aged man beside the little girl suddenly stood up. He waved the stone axe in his hand and swung it towards the little girl's head. The child's father. The woman beside the little girl was scared out of her wits by this scene, and she quickly shielded the little girl with her body. Just as the stone axe was about to hit the woman, the sound of something breaking through the air rang out. A stone smashed into the middle-aged man's stone axe, causing it to fall to the ground. The middle-aged man's right hand was cracked and dripping with blood. The person who attacked was Gu Fei. Although his cultivation had mysteriously disappeared, his power was still there. Of course, this was only the power of his martial body. When he saw that the middle-aged man wanted to kill the little girl, he grabbed a stone from the ground and flicked it out in a moment of desperation. It had to be said that his divine flicking finger was really good. What are you doing? Gu Fei had already arrived in front of the middle-aged man. Grandpa Divine Mountain, please spare me. My daughter offended you, so she deserves to die. Please don't vent your anger on others. The middle-aged man knelt on the ground in fear. Which eye of yours saw that I'm angry? Gu Fei was truly speechless. However, this middle-aged man actually wanted to sacrifice his own daughter to protect other people. Although this method was not good, he was still a man. Actually, the people of the Black Mountain race were extremely afraid of their Grandpa Divine Mountain. Their Grandpa Divine Mountain was temperamental. If this was in the past, many people of the Black Mountain race would have died because of what the little girl said. No one thought that their Grandpa Divine Mountain would suddenly change into a completely different person. How could he be so easy to talk to? Little girl, come over here. Gu-Fei smiled at the little girl kneeling on the ground. Grandpa Divine Mountain, please let my daughter go. The woman hugged the little girl and begged in fear. I promise I won't hurt you, okay? Gu-Fei was truly speechless. His cultivation had disappeared, and he couldn't even protect himself. Other than being slightly stronger, if he met a real cultivator, he would be in for a tragedy. The spiritual energy in this world was so thick, and there were definitely many mountain spirits and monsters. The so-called Grandpa Divine Mountain that these people were praying to should be a living spirit of a different race. Gu-Fei didn't care what kind of monster this so-called Grandpa Divine Mountain was, as long as it didn't provoke him. Even with Gu-Fei's promise, the woman was still doubtful. However, the little girl broke free from the woman's embrace and came in front of Gu-Fei. She raised her head and looked at Gu-Fei. You're so young. The little girl's voice was cute and innocent. Looking at the little girl, Gu-Fei suddenly thought of his daughter who was still in the human world. He finally knew why he liked this little girl. This little girl was a bit like his daughter when she was young. Gu-Fei wondered how the mother and daughter were doing in the human world. He had been away for a long time. Thinking about this, Gu-Fei's expression became a bit sad. While Gu-Fei was thinking about his daughter, the people around him were shocked by the little girl's words. I'm a mountain divine mountain, I can live forever. Gu-Fei smiled. I also want to live forever. Can you teach me? The little girl tilted her head and asked. You want to learn the method of immortality? Gu-Fei was slightly surprised. Immortality was just a small matter to him. Immortal God realm living beings were able to live forever, so not to mention immortality, an existence like him wouldn't die even if the heavens and the earth were destroyed. However, now that his cultivation had disappeared, he really didn't know if he could live forever. He had a choice. Logically speaking, he had passed the heavenly tribulation and successfully took that step. Shouldn't his cultivation have broken through to the half-step infinity realm? Why did his cultivation disappear instead? Yes, Grandpa died a few days ago. Everyone was very sad. If I learned the method of immortality, my family and people wouldn't have to die, the little girl said. Gu-Fei fell silent. The little girl was young, but she could already think for others. She wasn't seeking the method of immortality for herself, but for her family and people. At this moment, the countless people of the Black Mountain race who were lying on the ground pricked up their ears. They were shocked, excited, and afraid. If Grandpa Mountain Divine Mountain could give them the method of immortality, then the Black Mountain race would definitely rise quickly and become the strongest tribe in the Black Mountain range. To them, gods were invincible existences. The Black Mountain race had been in danger of being exterminated several times, but the gods had always chased away the enemies. However, in the past 10 years, their gods seemed to have abandoned them. No matter how they prayed, the gods didn't respond at all. Chapter 4893. You want to cultivate the art of longevity? Gu-Fei looked at the girl seriously. Yes. The little girl also nodded her head seriously. Gu-Fei sighed. He had only taken in Guzhong Yao Yu and Zhao Hao as his disciples. Little Ling Sienna was Yenna's disciple. He knew that he was not a good teacher. His disciples were all left to their own devices. The time he spent guiding them was pathetically little. Once you become my disciple, your life and death will be in my hands. You really need to think this through. Gu-Fei looked at the little girl with a solemn expression. I've thought it through. Teacher, please accept my kowtow. The girl was really sensible. She actually knelt down and kowtowed to Gu-Fei respectfully. She kowtowed to Gu-Fei. Gu-Fei was very calm. He felt that something was wrong, but he could not put his finger on it. This feeling was very strange. Why did he have this feeling? Get up! Gu-fei said calmly. Seeing that the girl had become the disciple of a god, everyone from the Black Mountain tribe was overjoyed. That was a god, an invincible god. Especially the girl's parents. They were so excited that they almost fainted. Then, under the guidance of the old shaman, Gu-fei held the girl's hand and left the altar. The Black Mountain tribe's altar was built in the sacred ground behind the tribe. This was usually a forbidden area. Even the old shaman did not dare to enter the back of the mountain. The consequences of disturbing a god were very serious. The bones that could be seen everywhere in the back of the mountain were the best proof. But today, the god actually walked out of the back of the mountain and lived in the tallest stone hall in the Black Mountain tribe. This used to be the old shaman's residence. Now, the old shaman, who had the highest status in the Black Mountain tribe, had become the god's most loyal servant. He was busy cleaning up the place for the god. The Black Mountain tribe was a branch of the human race in the wild. There were many people in the tribe. There were close to 10,000 people living in the Black Mountain tribe. However, the Black Mountain tribe was not the strongest tribe in this area. On the other side of the mountain, there was another human tribe called the Fire Bear tribe. The people of the Fire Bear tribe called themselves the Fire Bear tribe. Their guardian spirit was said to be a fire bear. There seemed to be a fire bear deity in the Fire Bear tribe. Even the old priest of the Shanhei tribe didn't know about it. However, the Fire Bear tribe was the most powerful tribe within 60 miles. It had tens of thousands of people. Gu-fei was not interested in these things. The most urgent thing for him now was to figure out how his cultivation suddenly disappeared. The people of the Black Mountain tribe saw him as a god. Other than the little girl Xiaoya and the old shaman, he refused to see anyone else. As long as he could find out the reason, he would be able to regain his power. Limitless is nothingness. Limitless is the limit. Could it be that my cultivation disappeared because of this limitless? A thought suddenly flashed in Gu-fei's mind. He seemed to have grasped something. Perhaps his cultivation did not disappear. Instead, it existed in another form. The reason why he could not sense the existence of his cultivation was because he had yet to comprehend it. Disciple, Master is going into seclusion. No matter who it is, without Master's summon, no one is allowed to enter the stone temple. Gu-fei thought about it and sent a message to Xiaoya outside the temple. Yes, Master! Xiaoya quickly turned around and bowed towards the stone temple. Time passed. Gu-fei sat in the stone temple for half a year. During this time, he did not see anyone, not even his disciple Xiaoya. Without his summon, no one dared to take a step into the stone temple. And in this half a year, Xiaoya improved rapidly. Her cultivation had actually broken through to the Xiantian realm. She had become a Xiantian warrior. Xiaoya would usually cultivate in the empty space in front of the stone temple. Normally, no one dared to go near the stone temple. Only the old shaman would guard there, waiting for Gu-fei to come out. And on this day, early in the morning, Xiaoya was cultivating in front of the stone temple. At this time, there was a sudden battle cry outside the Black Mountain tribe. Lord Shaman, Xiong from the Fire Bear tribe is here with the Fire Bear tribe. A middle-aged man draped in beast skin rushed in from the outside. What? Chapter 4894. The Fire Bear tribe suddenly attacked the Heishan tribe. This was a war between two big tribes, and the Fire Bear tribe's sudden attack caught the Heishan tribe off guard. The Black Mountain tribe settlement was surrounded by high walls, and there were people guarding the walls 24 hours a day. No one could climb over the walls and enter without a sound. The people of the Fire Bear tribe directly attacked the gate of the Heishan tribe. As long as they broke through the gate, they could directly kill their way into the settlement of the Heishan tribe and exterminate the Heishan tribe. If the Fire Bear tribe wanted to be the overlord of this area, they had to conquer the surrounding tribes. Now, the Fire Bear tribe finally attacked the gate of the Heishan tribe. This was a life-and-death battle. If the Heishan tribe lost, they would be exterminated and all the captives would become the slaves of the Fire Bear tribe. All the men of the Haitian tribe picked up their weapons and rushed towards the gate of the tribe. For a moment, the battle cries shook the sky. At this moment, the chief of the Haitian tribe, Shan Kui, was leading the way, blocking the battle general of the Fire Bear tribe, Xiong Lai, outside the gate. "Xiong Lai, how dare you attack my Haitian tribe? You are seeking death!" Shan Kui roared while waving the spear in his hand. "TSK, your Haitian tribe has less than 10,000 people. How can you fight against us? Surrender now and I might spare your life." Xiong Lai sneered. "My tribe's guardian god has appeared. If you know what's good for you, get out of here. If you anger the god, you are dead." Shan Kui roared. Clang! At this moment, Xiong Lai's axe fiercely chopped towards Shan Kui. Shan Kui raised his spear to block. Instantly, sparks flew. Shan Kui was directly hit by the axe and staggered back. Xiong Lai was tall and wore animal skin. He looked ferocious and was a strength-type battle general. The axe in his hand was a bronze axe that weighed at least hundreds of kilograms. Shan Kui's size and strength were slightly weaker than Xiong Lai's. "The god has appeared! Who doesn't know that your Haitian tribe has been abandoned by the god? You want to lie to me? No way." Xiong Lai didn't believe it at all. With a sweep of the giant axe in his hand, the warriors of the Black Mountain tribe who were attacking him were all sent flying, and all of them died instantly. In the Fire Bear tribe, Xiong Lai was the #1 warrior. He could lift a 500 kilograms cauldron. Lions and tigers were just like cats and dogs in front of him. Kill! Xiong Lai's entire body was filled with a murderous aura. The giant axe in his hand swept across the area, and none of the warriors in the Black Mountain tribe could stop his footsteps. This guy was too arrogant. He actually killed his way to the gate of the Black Mountain tribe alone. "Close the door! Close the door!" The warriors of the Black Mountain tribe found a stretcher and carried Shan Kui towards the stone palace. In the eyes of the Black Mountain tribe, the stone palace was a sacred place. It was the divine palace. Although the old priest and the little girl Xiaoya who were guarding the stone palace heard the sound from the entrance, they didn't leave. Before the god went into closed-door cultivation, he passed down a decree that no one could enter the divine palace. Of course, they had to stay here and didn't dare to leave. Soon, Shan Kui was carried to the gate of the divine palace by a group of warriors. "Lord Priest, please come out and take a look. Our lord seems to be dying." Countless warriors of the Black Mountain tribe knelt outside the divine palace. They didn't dare to barge into the divine palace. Shan Kui's breath was weak. The old priest held onto his bone staff and walked out step by step. Seeing the old priest come out, no one dared to say a word. "Yes, his sternum is broken and his organs are broken. He can't be saved unless the god intervenes." The old priest checked Shan Kui's injuries and shook his head sadly. After all, he was the one who watched Shan Kui grow up. The warriors of the Black Mountain tribe who were kneeling on the ground were shocked. Their lord was dead. What should they do? "Lord Priest, can you please?" a general said cautiously. "Shut up. The supreme god is in closed-door cultivation. No one is to disturb him," the old priest scolded. "But," the warrior from the Black Mountain tribe wanted to say something, but when he saw the fierce look in the priest's eyes, he swallowed the words that he was about to say. "Let me take a look." Chapter 4895. In an unknown world, in a primitive area, human tribes gathered one after another. These primitive tribes believed in the supreme gods. In the eyes of these people, gods were supreme and omnipotent. Every human tribe believed in a different god. The Haitian tribe believed in the mountain god, while the Fire Bear tribe believed in a fire bear. Among the tribes within 100 miles, the Fire Bear tribe was very powerful. They had started to conquer the surrounding tribes, and some small tribes had already been exterminated by the Fire Bear tribe. Now, the Fire Bear tribe suddenly attacked the Haitian tribe. Of course, Gu Fei didn't care about all of this. At this moment, he was in seclusion in the sacred palace of the Haitian tribe. Although it was called a sacred palace, it was actually just a stone palace. It was not very big and was very simple. However, it was already very impressive to be able to build such a stone palace in such a primitive tribe. This was because the people here had not mastered the method of cultivation. The method of cultivation was only in the hands of the so-called gods. The human race was actually the slaves of the so-called gods. The high and mighty gods naturally did not want the human race to become powerful. This was because if the human race became powerful, then it would be very difficult for the gods to control the human race. Actually, Gu Fei had seen through all of this the moment he came here. To put it bluntly, the worship of this primitive tribe was to be the slaves of the gods. This made Gu Fei very unhappy. However, he could not change all of this. This was because his cultivation had disappeared. Without a powerful cultivation, what could he change? He could not even protect himself. Therefore, he urgently needed to find his strength and magical power. At this moment, outside the sacred palace of the Heishan tribe, there were many people kneeling down. These people were all old, weak, women and children. This was because the young and strong had already gathered at the entrance of the tribe to resist the attack of the Fire Bear tribe. The heavily injured and dying leader of the Heishan tribe, Shan Kui, was carried out of the sacred palace by his subordinates, and begged the old shaman to treat him. However, after some examination, the old shaman said that Shan Kui could not be saved. This made all the people of the Heishan tribe despair. Some of them even cried. Leader Shan Kui was the most powerful person in the Heishan tribe. If he died, who else in the Heishan tribe could fight against Xiongli of the Fire Bear tribe? Once Xiongli attacked, the Heishan tribe would be finished. Let me take a look. Just as the old high priest was pronouncing Lord Shan Kui's death sentence, a little girl in white walked out of the holy temple. She was Gu Fei's new disciple, Xiaoya. Goddess! The old priest hurriedly bowed to little Ye. Goddess! All the Black Mountain tribesmen in front of the temple knelt down respectfully towards the little girl. However, Xiaoya did not care about this. She directly went to the stretcher and placed her hand on Lord Shan Kui's right wrist. A wave of true qi was transferred over. That wave of true qi circulated around Lord Shan Kui's body. Xiaoya already knew Lord Shan Kui's injuries. His sternum was broken, and his internal organs were shattered. If it was in the past, Shan Kui would have died. However, the true qi that Xiaoya cultivated seemed to be somewhat special. After her true qi circulated around Shan Kui's body, Shan Kui's complexion actually improved a lot. Moreover, Shan Kui was no longer coughing blood. Almighty Goddess, please save Sir Overlord. When the people around Lord Shan Kui saw this, they immediately knelt down in front of Xiaoya excitedly. All right, I will save him, Xiaoya said as she continued to pour Xiantian true qi into Shan Kui's body. After cultivating for half a year, she had already reached the Xiantian realm. Her Xiantian true qi could heal injuries. This was something she discovered a month ago. That day, an eagle chased a small kingfisher into the temple. Xiaoya chased the eagle away, but the small kingfisher fell in the courtyard in front of the temple. It flapped its wings in the courtyard and could not fly up. It turned out that one of the small kingfisher's wings was broken by the eagle. Xiaoya had heard Gu Fei talk about the magical use of true qi. For a martial artist, true qi could temper their martial body and make it even stronger. However, the other use of true qi was healing. Whether it was healing oneself or healing others with true qi, it would have a very good effect. Xiaoya tried to use her true qi to heal the small kingfisher. Then, a miracle happened. Xiaoya's true qi could actually heal the injured body. The small kingfisher's broken wing was healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. In less than an hour, the small kingfisher's wing was completely healed. Then, it flew directly into the sky and returned to Xiaoya's shoulder. From then on, Xiaoya had a small kingfisher by her side. At this time, as Xiaoya's Xiantian true qi circulated in Lord Shan Kui's body, everyone was shocked to see the wounds on Lord Shan Kui's body healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. His flesh and bones were rapidly growing and healing. In less than 2 hours, Lord Shan Kui abruptly opened his eyes. It hurts, Lord Shan Kui cried out in pain and spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. His originally pale face also became rosy. How magical! Everyone was stunned by this scene. Come back from the dead! The old shaman was extremely excited. Shan Kui thanks Goddess for saving my life. Lord Shan Kui immediately knelt before Xiaoya. Boom! At this time, a loud sound came from the front. Then, the people of the Fire Bear tribe actually broke through the gate of the Black Mountain tribe and killed their way in. Okay, you guys go and repel the enemy first, Xiaoya said and waved her sleeves, turned around and walked into the sacred hall. The old shaman stood guard outside the gate of the sacred hall. We will obey the goddess' decree. Lord Shan Kui accepted the order and grabbed a mace carried by one of his subordinates. Why did this weapon become lighter? Lord Shan Kui couldn't help but be shocked when he grabbed the mace. This mace was made of bronze and weighed more than 300 pounds. Although it was one of his weapons and had always been heavy, when he picked up this mace now, it felt like he was holding a withered blade of grass. At this time, he didn't have much time to think. Because in front of him, the people of the Fire Bear tribe, under the leadership of Xiong Lai, rushed over like a tide. The people of the Black Mountain tribe were completely defeated. Especially Xiong Lai's tall figure. He waved the giant axe in his hand as if he was invincible. He took the lead and rushed towards the sacred hall. His mount was a giant lizard. Everywhere he went, the people of the Black Mountain tribe were either killed or injured. Shan Kui, you're not dead? Xiong Lai saw Shan Kui standing in front of the sacred hall from afar and couldn't help but be shocked. How could this guy still be alive after taking a kick from me? Xiong Lai, are you disappointed that I'm not dead? Shan Kui roared. Haha, since you're not dead, I'll kill you again. Chapter 4896. Within the Heishan tribe, flames soared to the sky. Xiong Lai of the Fire Bear tribe led the warriors of the Fire Bear tribe to finally break through the defense of the Heishan tribe. The entire Heishan tribe was in chaos. Numerous people fled in all directions. Numerous old and weak people were wailing. Numerous warriors of the Heishan tribe were impaled to death by the spears of the Fire Bear tribe. This was hell on earth. This was also the truest portrayal of this primitive world. The weak were prey to the strong. This was the rule from ancient times to the present. Haha, the warriors of my Fire Bear tribe are great. At the top of a mountain in the distance, there were countless men dressed in beast skins and holding spears. These men looked boorish, and their bodies were filled with killing intent. The leader was Xiong Qihu, the overlord of the Fire Bear tribe. He was wearing a tiger skin and a tiger head hat with a golden spear in his hand. The reason why Xiong Qihu was called Scarlet Tiger was because he had single-handedly killed a scarlet striped tiger during his coming-of-age ceremony. The red striped tiger was the king of the mountain. Anyone who could kill a red striped tiger was the strongest warrior of the Fire Bear tribe. Hee, how could Shan Kui be a match for Xiong Lai? Beside Xiong Qihu, a skinny old man covered in a black robe laughed. Lord Priest is right. Xiong Qihu nodded. This old man was the only priest in the Fire Bear tribe who could communicate with the Fire Bear deity. His status was even higher than that of Xiong Qihu, the overlord of the Fire Bear tribe. Xiong Lai is about to reach the sacred palace of the Heishan tribe. The battle is about to end. Xiong Qihu laughed. Standing on the mountain top, they could see the entire Heishan tribe. At this moment, Xiong Lai rode his huge lizard and charged towards Shan Kui in front of the sacred palace. Shwa! The huge lizard opened its mouth, and a snake-like tongue rolled towards Shan Kui. A stinky smell filled the air. Humph! Shan Kui stretched out his left hand and grabbed the long tongue of the huge lizard. He raised his mace with his right hand and smashed it towards the head of the huge lizard. What? Xiong Lai was shocked. He didn't expect Shan Kui to act so fast. It was too late for him to block. He suddenly patted the head of the huge lizard and jumped up. Bam! In the next moment, there was a muffled sound. Shan Kui's mace smashed into the lizard's head, turning it into a bloody mist. The headless corpse of the giant lizard flew out and directly smashed into a stone house. Kill! Xiong roared angrily. He gripped his bronze axe with both hands and descended from the sky. He ruthlessly swung the axe towards Shan Kui below. This was the strongest warrior of the Fire Bear tribe. The power was astonishing. Even if this guy didn't know how to cultivate, his brute force was still amazing. However, at this moment, Shan Kui only felt that his entire body was filled with power. His body still had the innate true qi that little Ye had passed on to him. Kill! Shan Kui roared and swung the mace in his hand upwards. Clang! The mace in Shan Kui's hand collided with Xiong Lai's axe. In the next moment, Xiong Lai's axe flew out of his hand. His hands, which were holding the giant axe, were dripping with blood. Cracks appeared on his palms, and blood was seeping out from the cracks. How could this be? Xiong Lai was dumbfounded. He was the strongest warrior of the Fire Bear tribe. Even the Lord Xiong Qihu couldn't match him in strength. Why did Shan Kui's strength suddenly increase so much? Wasn't this guy severely injured by him just now? Could it be that the rumor was true? Did the deity of the Black Mountain tribe show himself? Xiong Lai was sent flying and directly smashed into the crowd of Fire Bear tribe members who were charging towards him from behind. What? Xiong Qihu, the lord of the Fire Bear tribe, and the others on the mountain ridge in the distance, were shocked to see this scene. How could this happen? Shan Kui waved his mace and directly charged into the crowd of Fire Bear tribe members. In the next moment, miserable cries sounded. Wherever Shan Kui waved his mace, all the people of the Fire Bear tribe would be sent flying. If they were hit, they would die. If they were grazed, they would be injured. Soon, many people of the Fire Bear tribe were killed or injured. Our Lord is mighty! Our Lord is invincible! The warriors of the Black Mountain tribe roared and fought back crazily as if they had been injected with chicken blood. Originally, the Black Mountain tribe had been defeated. However, at this moment, the warriors of the Black Mountain tribe were inspired by their lord and started to fight against the people of the Fire Bear tribe like crazy. As the lord of the Black Mountain tribe, Shan Kui took the lead and directly charged towards Xiong Lai. No one was his match. All the warriors of the Fire Bear tribe who attacked him were smashed to death by his mace. No one could withstand his mace. At this moment, Shan Kui was simply invincible. Xiong Lai, why are you running away? Fight me if you have the guts! Shan Kui chased after Xiong Lai. At this moment, the strongest warrior of the Fire Bear tribe actually escaped towards the gate of the Black Mountain tribe without looking back. He did not dare to fight at all. Seeing the strongest warrior of the Fire Bear tribe escape, the rest of the people of the Fire Bear tribe naturally followed suit. Therefore, the tables had turned. Now, it was the people of the Fire Bear tribe's turn to be defeated. This, Xiong Qihu and the others on the mountain ridge in the distance were dumbfounded. Lord Priest, this. Xiong Qihu looked at the black-clothed old man beside him. He wanted to say something but stopped on second thought. The black-clothed priest pondered. Chapter 4897. After half a year of closed-door training, Gu Fei finally came out. As soon as he came out, he caused a natural phenomenon, which scared away Xiong Qihu and the priest of the Fire Bear tribe. Lord Priest, didn't you say that the people of the Black Mountain tribe were deliberately mystifying us? Can't their tribe be protected by a deity? What's going on now? Xiong Qihu, the lord of the Fire Bear tribe, said to the priest of the Fire Bear tribe discontentedly after escaping more than 10 miles away. How would I know? Attacking the Black Mountain tribe is the decree of the deity of the Fire Bear tribe. Who dares to disobey? The priest of the Fire Bear tribe said angrily. This time, the Fire Bear tribe went for wool and came home shorn. They were going to destroy the Black Mountain tribe, but they didn't expect that the Black Mountain tribe was really protected by a deity. The Black Mountain tribe turned defeat into victory. Now, the Fire Bear tribe was the unlucky one. Alas! Retreat! If the deity of the Black Mountain tribe comes, none of us will survive. The priest of the Fire Bear tribe shouted at the warriors of the Fire Bear tribe. The warriors of the Fire Bear tribe were terrified. In their eyes, the deity was supreme. By attacking the Black Mountain tribe, they had definitely angered the deity of the Black Mountain tribe. At this moment, all the warriors of the Fire Bear tribe were terrified. "Lord Priest, how about we ask our deity to help us?" Xiongqihu suddenly said. "Shut up!" the priest of the Fire Bear tribe shouted in a low voice. This. Xiongqihu was very unhappy, but he didn't dare to show it. He could only swallow his anger. He was already very dissatisfied with the priest of the Fire Bear tribe. Under the lead of Xiongqihu and the priest of the Fire Bear tribe, the warriors of the Fire Bear tribe retreated back to the Fire Bear tribe in panic. At this moment, in the Black Mountain tribe, the lord of the Fire Bear tribe, Shan Kui, led countless warriors of the Black Mountain tribe to kneel in the open space outside the temple, worshipping the temple. Although Gu Fei, who was regarded as a god by them, did not make a move, he had performed a miracle. That was enough, because the moment the miracle appeared, the morale of the warriors of the Black Mountain tribe soared, and they defeated the Fire Bear tribe in one go. Seeing the miracle, the warriors of the Fire Bear tribe were naturally scared to death. How would they dare to continue fighting? Gu Fei refused to see anyone, and the old shaman stood guard outside, preventing anyone from entering. "Master wants to meditate. All of you, disperse!" Xiaoyu walked out of the sacred hall and said to everyone kneeling outside. "As you command!" Shan Kui and the others gradually dispersed. At this time, the entire Black Mountain tribe was in a mess. There were burning fires, collapsed houses, and corpses all over the ground. These all needed to be dealt with. As the leader of the Black Mountain tribe, Shan Kui naturally had to lead his tribesmen to extinguish the fire, collect the corpses, and rebuild the collapsed houses. In this battle, the Black Mountain tribe had suffered heavy losses. They would probably need a few years to recover. The Black Mountain tribe did not have many people to begin with. More than half of the young men had died in battle, and the rest were the old, the women, and the children. The Black Mountain tribe's strength had declined greatly. If the Fire Bear tribe came again, the Black Mountain tribe would definitely not be able to stop them. However, not only did the Fire Bear tribe not dare to attack the Black Mountain tribe, but they were also afraid that the guardian deity of the Black Mountain tribe would find trouble for them. At this time, in the valley behind the Fire Bear tribe, the leader Xiongqihu and the priest arrived in front of a huge cave deep in the valley. In the cave, there was a dull snoring sound, and there were waves of heat coming out of the cave. "Our tribe's guardian deity is still sleeping?" Xiongqihu frowned. "What do you think?" the priest sneered. "Our tribe's guardian deity has been sleeping for more than 100 years. When will it wake up?" Xiongqihu was very worried. Because the guardian deity of the Black Mountain tribe had shown a miracle, the other small tribes would definitely seek refuge with the Black Mountain tribe when they heard the news. In this primitive tribal world, every tribe did not care about bloodline, but the strength of the tribe. Because in this primitive world, the more powerful the tribe was, the more likely they could survive. The Black Mountain tribe would also take in people from other tribes. "I don't know either," the priest sighed. The guardian deity of the Fire Bear tribe was the strongest deity within 100 miles. If the deity in the cave woke up, why would they be afraid of the guardian deity of the Black Mountain tribe? "Let's go. We need to guard against the revenge of the Black Mountain tribe," the priest said. "And?" Xiongqihu nodded. The two then left the valley. At this time, in the temple of the Black Mountain tribe, Gu Fei was very happy. He had finally touched the limitless realm, and his body had finally cultivated a trace of limitless qi. This limitless qi was really magical. It seemed to exist and not exist, and it was between illusion and reality. Moreover, although the limitless qi in Gu Fei's body was little, it was able to transform his martial body. Extreme into limitless, limited into limitless. Gu Fei sat cross-legged on the praying mat and muttered to himself. This limitless qi was all-encompassing, and it seemed to be of a higher level than the eternal primordial qi. It seemed to be the ultimate essence of life. He felt that even if he had only cultivated a trace of limitless qi, he would be able to beat up those peak eternal demon masters when he returned to the eternal world. Finally, he had some power to protect himself. This made Gu Fei very happy. For a martial artist, there was an essential difference between having essence and not having essence in their body. Martial arts skills needed essence to be driven. Gu Fei, who was in a good mood, stood up from the praying mat and walked out of the hall. Master! Xiaoya, who was cultivating in the courtyard, quickly came up and greeted Gu Fei. Not bad, you are already a Xiantian martial artist. Gu Fei could tell Xiaoya's cultivation level at a glance. She had cultivated to the Xiantian realm in half a year. With this kind of talent, if she was in the human world, she would definitely be a super monster. Back then, when he was in the Taishian sect, he had to put in a lot of effort to cultivate to the Xiantian realm. It was really infuriating to compare with others. Master, what is the Xiantian realm? Xiaoya tilted her head and asked. Air. Gu Fei was speechless. This little girl did not even know that she had cultivated to the Xiantian realm. All right, I'll tell you about the cultivation realms. Gu Fei had no choice but to popularize the knowledge of cultivation for Xiaoya so that she could clearly understand her own cultivation level and what kind of realm she was in. As he spoke, it took a few hours. Xiaoya listened attentively, and the old shaman's eyes lit up. This was the first time they had heard of such things. I'm hungry. Let's eat first. Gu Fei stopped. The old shaman hurriedly ordered people to prepare food. Soon, a whole roasted lamb was carried in by 2 warriors from the Black Mountain tribe. The aroma of meat immediately filled the air. The old shaman respectfully presented the wine brewed by the Black Mountain tribe. The Black Mountain tribe gathered hundreds of fruits and brewed 100-fruit wine. It was famous far and wide. Gu Fei ate the wine in big bowls and big pieces of meat. At this time, there was a sudden commotion outside the holy hall. Then, a figure descended from the sky and landed in the courtyard of the holy hall. Then, he took a step forward and instantly appeared in front of Gu Fei. The barbarian emperor has decreed that the guardian deity of the Black Mountain tribe must come to the barbarian emperor city within 10 days. No delay! Chapter 4898. Barbarian Sovereign's Decree? Gu Fei looked at the young man in armor floating in the air. He was surprised because this guy could actually fly. Cultivator, this guy was actually a human cultivator. Gu Fei originally thought that this was a primitive tribal world. Who would have thought that there would be such a powerful human cultivator here? Why aren't you kneeling to receive the barbarian sovereign's decree? The young warrior in black armor looked at Gu Fei, who was still standing, and couldn't help but be furious. The barbarian sovereign was the sovereign of southern barbarian. Whether it was the human tribes or the guardian deities of these tribes, they all had to submit to the barbarian sovereign. The ruler of the entire southern barbarian was the barbarian sovereign. At this time, Xiaoya and the old shaman were already kneeling on the ground. When they saw that Gu Fei was still standing, they couldn't help but be shocked. One must know that this was the special envoy of the barbarian sovereign. The once-in-a-century Southern Barbarian All-Spirits Conference was about to begin. The barbarian sovereign began to pass down decrees to the countless tribes in Southern Barbarian. As long as there was a guardian deity guarding the tribe, the barbarian sovereign would pass down the decree. The guardian deities who received the decree would have to participate in the Myriad Spirits Conference. Those who didn't obey the decree and didn't participate would be killed by the experts sent by the barbarian sovereign. Gods were naturally supreme in the eyes of the human race, like the Black Mountain tribe. However, in the eyes of the barbarian sovereign, these so-called gods were just some monsters who knew how to cultivate. The so-called Myriad Spirits Conference that was held once in a century was actually a means for the barbarian sovereign to find out the number of monsters in Southern Barbarian and the strength of their cultivation. The barbarian sovereign couldn't let these foreign races threaten his rule over Southern Barbarian. In these 100 years, if there were some particularly powerful foreign races in Southern Barbarian, if they couldn't be subdued, then they would be killed. No matter what world or place, the law of the jungle was the truth. Master, hurry up and receive the decree. Xiaoya was anxious. Tisk, in my life, I haven't even knelt to the heavens and earth. Why would I kneel to a mere decree? Gu Fei said disapprovingly. What? Everyone couldn't help but be shocked. What big words! The young warrior was infuriated when he heard this. In the past several hundred years, there had never been a creature that dared not to kneel and accept the decree of the wildlands. Moreover, this fellow was a human. Where's the deity of the Black Mountain tribe? Why hasn't he come out yet? How dare he neglect the decree of the barbarian emperor? Does the Black Mountain tribe want to be exterminated? According to the classification of the 5 great realms of cultivation in the human world, this guy was able to fly in the air. He was at least at the royal void realm. The 5 great realms of the human world were awakening, transcending mortality, royal void, demigod, and supreme saint. These were the 5 great realms below the immortal realm. Transcending mortality was to get rid of the mortal body, which was equivalent to the Xiantian realm and the heaven realm. Gu Fei had been in this world for half a year. It was rare for him to meet a human race cultivator. Naturally, his hands were itching. He extended his right hand and pointed at the golden sword light. In the next moment, the golden sword light shattered in the void, turning into specks of golden light that dissipated in the void. How is this possible? When the envoy of the barbarian emperor saw this, his eyeballs almost fell to the ground. This guy actually used a finger to break his sword chi. How was this possible? The warrior in green was sweating on his forehead. Could this guy be a true god realm existence? Although those so-called guardian deities in the southern barbarian tribes were called deities, they were actually demigod realm creatures that were slightly stronger than the innate realm. Some of the deities in the small tribes were even innate realm creatures. In this world, the young warrior was a god realm expert. In this world, only experts above the god realm could fly in the air. He himself was a god realm expert. You're just SOSO and you still dare to be presumptuous in front of me. You're simply courting death, Gu Fei said indifferently. Kill! The young warrior was shocked and angry. In the next moment, he roared and the bronze sword in his hand flew up and split into 9 golden sword chi around him. Swoosh! As he pointed with the sword finger on his right hand, the 9 sword chi around him directly pierced towards Gu Fei on the ground. The incomparably sharp sword chi spread out, and the courtyard of the sacred hall was suddenly filled with dust. Sigh! Gu Fei sighed and shook his head. Then, he waved his right hand casually. The 9 sword chi that pierced him turned around and flew back to the young warrior. In the next moment, the 9 sword chi flashed. The young warrior's body bloomed with 9 balls of blood and directly fell to the ground from the sky. Chapter 4899. The barbarian emperor was the supreme ruler of the south. He was actually the most powerful god in the south. Every 100 years, he would hold a grand all-spirit assembly. It was to consolidate his ruling position in the south. All spirits submitted to him, and the barbarian emperor was invincible. This way, the barbarian emperor could compete with the other giants, and not have a fire in his backyard. The 100-year period was approaching, and the envoys of the barbarian emperor began to move. These envoys only had one purpose, and that was to declare the might of the barbarian emperor. Wherever the envoys went, all spirits bowed their heads. No one dared to challenge the authority of the barbarian emperor. However, when the guardian gods of the large tribes bowed their heads, the envoys sent by the barbarian emperor kicked an iron plate in the inconspicuous Black Mountain tribe. Gu Fei didn't care if you were a high and mighty barbarian emperor. If you dared to provoke him, then there was only one word: beat! In my life, Gu Fei didn't even have the qualifications to make me kneel, let alone a mere barbarian emperor. Gu Fei wasn't like the guardian gods of the other tribes because he was an outsider. He wasn't a person of this world and didn't know the rules of this world. In fact, even if he knew the rules of this world, he still wouldn't bow his head. You dare to hurt me? The envoys lying on the ground panted heavily. The 9 bloody holes on his body were constantly bleeding. The 9 sword lights pierced through his body. The wounds were imbued with Gu Fei's power, so the blood kept flowing. Tisk! Gu Fei was very disdainful. He stretched out his right hand and grabbed with his 5 fingers. The end of his bronze sword flew into his hand. This sword is barely okay. Xiaoya, this sword is for you. Gu Fei directly erased the divine sense in the bronze sword. Then, with a wave of his right hand, the bronze sword was inserted in front of Xiaoya. Buzz! The bronze sword was vibrating. My sword! The envoy glared at Gu Fei. Master, this! Xiaoya was dumbfounded. This god spirit master of hers was truly a ferocious person. He actually beat up the envoy of the barbarian sovereign. The envoy was simply unable to withstand a single blow from her god spirit master. You're dead. The envoy took out a cylindrical object from his body. In the next moment, with a bang, a ball of fire rose from his hand into the sky. Boom! With a loud bang, the fireball exploded in midair. At this time, the sky had already darkened, and the dazzling light suddenly appeared in the sky, appearing incomparably eye-catching. Looking for help? Gu Fei smiled and looked up at the fireworks in the sky. Let me understand this world first. Gu Fei suddenly thought of something. He reached out his right hand and grabbed at the envoy on the ground. The unfortunate envoy flew towards him involuntarily. He grabbed the emissary's head, and in the next moment, a powerful divine will invaded the emissary's consciousness to read his memories. I see. Gu Fei soon knew what kind of world he was in. This was a world called the Void Realm. In this world, the barbarian emperor was not the strongest existence. He was just the emperor of Nanman. This world was divided into 5 regions, namely Eastern Wilderness, Nanman, Western Sea, North Ruins, and Middle Sky. Nanman was the world of the barbarian emperor. The Eastern Wilderness, Western Sea, North Ruins, and Middle Sky also had their own emperors. The envoy of the barbarian emperor was only in the divine state. In this void realm, a divine state could fly in the sky, and a true god could be considered as an expert. The barbarian emperor was a supreme existence in the Shin King realm. Gu Fei let go of the envoy. Because this guy was the subordinate of the barbarian emperor, he knew a lot of things. However, in the eyes of the people of the Black Mountain tribe, these divine state envoys were supreme gods. In reality, they were the weakest existences under the barbarian emperor, and were only responsible for running errands. Looks like it won't be so boring in the future, Gu Fei said to himself. At this moment, an angry roar came from afar. Then, 2 black figures descended from the sky and landed in the courtyard in front of the divine palace. 12th brother, what happened to you? The person who came was furious when he saw the envoy lying on the ground. For hundreds of years, no one had ever dared to hurt the envoy sent by the barbarian emperor. 2nd brother, kill this guy for me. The envoy stared at Gu Fei viciously. Are you the one who hurt my 12th brother? The middle-aged man who was the leader of the group stared at Gu Fei and said, So what if I am? Gu Fei stood with his hands behind his back and said indifferently, How dare you, aren't you afraid of death? The other middle-aged man in black roared at Gu Fei. How dare you be so presumptuous in front of me, aren't you afraid of death? Gu Fei was still calm. So what if the barbarian emperor is powerful? I am a top-notch expert in the eternal world. Even here, I am not someone who can be bullied by anyone. Haha! The middle-aged man who was the leader laughed out of anger. Little guy, go to hell! The middle-aged man laughed hideously and punched at Gu Fei. 2nd brother is a true god realm expert, you are dead meat. The envoy who was crippled by Gu Fei sneered. Even the guardian deities of some big tribes are not a match for 2nd brother, let alone this little guy. The other envoy said disdainfully. In the void realm, the lifespan of humans and other living creatures was very long. Ordinary people could live up to 200 to 300 years old, and cultivators could live even longer. A Xiantian realm cultivator could live up to 500 to 600 years, a god realm cultivator could live up to 1,000 years, and a true god realm cultivator could roam the world for tens of thousands of years. The living creatures of the Shin King realm were immortal. Of course, immortal was just a relative term, it was not truly immortal. In the eyes of these envoys, Gu Fei was just a little guy. Rumble! The middle-aged envoy punched out, and a thunderous sound rang out. It was an incomparably shocking sight. Both Xiaoya and the old high priest were shocked to the extreme. They were also terrified to the extreme. However, Gu Fei did not even move his hand this time. Then, the middle-aged envoy's punch turned around and landed heavily on his body. Bam! Crack! The sound of bones breaking came from his body. How is this possible? This time, everyone was stunned. The unlucky second brother was hit by his own fist and vomited blood. He fell to the ground, staggered, and almost fell. What kind of magic is that? The second brother said with a trembling voice. Magic was something that only heavenly god realm experts could master. Are you a heavenly god? The envoys of the three barbarian emperors were extremely shocked. How could a small black mountain tribe have a heavenly god? Chapter 4900. The cultivation level of the void plane was similar to that of the heavenly god plane. However, the strongest being here was Shen King. According to legend, there was the ancestral god above Shen King. However, the ancestral god was only a legend. He had never appeared before. Compared to the other worlds, this world was more primitive. However, the worldly spiritual energy here was the densest among all the worlds that Gu Fei had ever been to. That was also the reason why the lifespans of the living creatures here were far longer compared to those of other worlds. Additionally, the worldly laws here were very strong. They were the strongest worldly laws that Gu Fei had ever encountered. They were much stronger compared to the worldly laws of Eternal World. If the living creatures here were to appear in Eternal World, they would surely be the most terrifying and powerful existences. Gu Fei wondered if he had ascended to the limitless realm after overcoming his tribulation. However, this was just the void plane, not the real limitless realm. After reading the memories of the barbarian sovereign's anvil, Gu Fei speculated that this void plane might be a transitional world between Eternal World and the limitless realm. Even though the humans here seemed weak and small, that was because the nomological laws of this world were too strong. You dare defy the barbarian sovereign's decree and wound the envoy? No one can save you! It's not just you. Even the people from the Black Mountain tribe can forget about living! The second brother among the emissaries roared at Gu Fei with a stern expression. Although they were just the envoys sent out by the barbarian sovereign, in the eyes of the tribal lords, they were even more terrifying compared to the exalted gods. Wherever the envoy went, even the guardian gods of the tribes would have to come out and greet them. As time went by, even the envoy became incomparably arrogant and overbearing. With just a word of disagreement, they would kill off the gods and destroy the tribes that offended them. They possessed the strength to do so. After all, as humans at the divine stage, they were already gods. Naturally, the guardian gods of most human tribes were not that strong. In the eyes of the barbarian sovereign's envoys, these so-called gods were nothing more than farts. Now, although these three envoys weren't Gu Fei's opponents, they were still very domineering. They thought that Gu Fei wouldn't dare to do anything to them. However, it was a pity that they were wrong this time. This was because Gu Fei did not belong to this world, and Gu Fei's cultivation base could not be measured by the cultivation realm of the Void Realm. They couldn't see through Gu Fei at all. Hearing the words of the envoy, Xiaoya and the old priest were stunned. Who didn't know the name of the barbarian emperor in the south? There was only one outcome for those who offended the barbarian sovereign, and that was death. For example, the guardian deities of the Heavenly Wolf tribe and the Golden Lion tribe had already received the decree of the barbarian sovereign. All the guardian deities of the tribes had to lower their heads in front of the barbarian sovereign's envoy. No one dared to disregard the barbarian sovereign's envoy like Gu Fei. You are thinking of... The eyes of the Fire Bear tribe priest turned vicious. Hee, this is a great merit. I believe the lords and guardian deities of the other tribes will be more than happy to help. Xiong Qihu sneered. But even the envoy was killed by the guardian deity of the Black Mountain tribe. Even if we contact the other tribes to help, I'm afraid we won't be able to win. Priest Xiong was not stupid. The special envoy of the barbarian king had a very high cultivation level. He was in existence comparable to the gods. They had died in the Black Mountain tribe. How could they be a match for the guardian of the Black Mountain tribe? Lord Priest, have you forgotten about the Heavenly Ape tribe? Xiongqihu said meaningfully. The Heavenly Ape tribe? The Fire Bear tribe priest's eyes lit up. All right. The Fire Bear tribe priest finally made up his mind. At this time, the people of the Black Mountain tribe were in a state of panic. However, no one knew that a crisis had befallen the Black Mountain tribe so quickly. Chapter 49:01. No matter what world it was, strength was the key to everything. Gu Fei was very clear about this. Only with unparalleled strength could he be fearless. So what if it was the barbarian emperor? As long as he was strong enough, there was nothing to be afraid of. Therefore, Gu Fei did not need to think much and directly killed the 3 arrogant envoys sent by the barbarian emperor. However, the other people of the Black Mountain tribe were not as calm as Gu Fei. Those were the envoys who could decide their life and death. Just like that, they were killed by their guardian spirit. When the news spread, the whole tribe was extremely terrified. The reason why tribes appeared in the mirage was because people gathered together to protect themselves. They formed a force that could resist external enemies and the beasts in the mountains. To put it bluntly, the formation of a tribe was to protect themselves and to survive. However, once their survival was seriously threatened, the people of this tribe would leave the tribe and join a stronger tribe. After Gu Fei killed the envoy of the barbarian emperor, the people of the Black Mountain tribe began to look for another way out. That night, thousands of people of the Black Mountain tribe quietly left. By the next morning, the entire Black Mountain tribe was left with less than 3,000 people. Moreover, these people were also leaving. This made the leader of the Black Mountain tribe, Shan Kuei, very helpless. In fact, even he wanted to leave, but in the end, he did not. However, a few of his capable men left, and brought many people with them. Shan Kuei and the old shaman were anxious. They wanted Gu Fei to come forward and gather the people who had left, but they were stopped by Xiaoye. However, what made Xiaoye sad was that her parents had also left the Black Mountain tribe. No one was optimistic about the Black Mountain tribe. One must know that Gu Fei killed the envoy of the barbarian emperor. The barbarian emperor was the ruler of Southern Man. The lives and deaths of billions of people in Southern Man were in the hands of the barbarian emperor. How could a small Black Mountain tribe compete with the barbarian emperor? In the eyes of the people of the Black Mountain tribe, Gu Fei fighting against the barbarian emperor was simply courting death. Soon, in less than 24 hours, almost all the people of the Black Mountain tribe had left. The entire tribe was disbanded. Only Lord Shan Kuei and 18 of his most loyal subordinates were left behind in the tribe's territory. The old shaman did not leave either. There were only 21 people left in the entire Black Mountain tribe. Including Gu Fei, there were only 22 people left. It was a pitiful sight. The Black Mountain tribe wasn't a weak tribe within 100 miles. It wasn't the strongest, but it was at least a mid-tier tribe. However, in less than a day, the entire tribe had scattered, and only 20 people were left. Then you will lead 1,000 scarlet armor guards to destroy the Black Mountain tribe. Kill them all, leave no one alive. Man Yao said indifferently. The life and death of a tribe was nothing in his eyes, it was just like killing a group of ants. Yes, General. Xian Chong cupped his fists at Man Yao, then turned around and left. Disperse. Man Yao laid on the throne and waved his hand impatiently at his subordinates in the hall. Everyone bowed to Man Yao and left the hall. Young and arrogant, hee. Be careful not to kick an iron plate. That won't be good. Outside the hall, the crowd dispersed in groups of 2s and 3s. Many of them were discussing in low voices. You're talking about Xian Chong, right? He's a heavenly god, wouldn't it be easy for him to destroy a small Black Mountain tribe? Someone said disapprovingly. Let's wait and see. The people outside the hall quickly dispersed, and went back to do what they were supposed to do. At this moment, Xian Chong led 1,000 scarlet armor guards and rode their scarlet scale colts, charging out of the imperial city like a scarlet gale. At this moment, 3 powerful auras appeared outside the Black Mountain tribe. It's a foreign god. The old shaman in the front yard of the Black Mountain tribe's divine palace shouted. These 3 auras surrounded the entire Black Mountain tribe's camp. The one in the southeast was like a divine fire, lighting up half the sky in a fiery red color. The aura in the northwest was incomparably cold and gloomy. Wherever this aura was, snowflakes actually floated down from the sky. On the other hand, the aura in the southwest was full of vitality. Chapter 4902. Before the crimson armor guards of the barbarian emperor city arrived, the gods of the other tribes near the Black Mountain tribe had already arrived. 3 powerful auras appeared near the Black Mountain tribe's territory, causing the leader of the Black Mountain tribe, Shan Kui, to tremble in fear. Even the old shaman was trembling in fear under the might of the deity. Only Xiaoye remained calm. He's a human. To think that the guardian deity of the Black Mountain tribe is a human. How dare you kill the envoy of the barbarian emperor? You must be tired of living. 3 divine wills appeared, and 3 voices appeared in the minds of the people near the Black Mountain tribe divine temple. Capture this bastard and it will be a great achievement. He's mine, don't fight with me over him. A domineering voice rang out in everyone's mind. The 4th godly spirit aura appeared, and a gigantic humanoid beast shadow appeared in the forest outside the Black Mountain tribe. This aura was wild and powerful, and it was stronger than the 3 auras that had appeared before. Brother Ape is here. Since Brother Ape has spoken, we will not fight with you. The 3 godly spirits were terrified. One had to know that this godly spirit was the guardian of the heavenly ape tribe. This godly spirit was stronger than the guardian spirits of the Fire Bear tribe, Sky Wolf tribe, and the Golden Lion tribe. The heavenly ape tribe was a mid-tier tribe, and their guardian deity was a heavenly ape. True immortal realm? Within the Black Mountain tribe's holy temple, Gu Fei stood up slowly. Come out and meet your death! A voice rang out in Gu Fei's mind. Still not coming out? Then I'll kill these people first. As the voice continued to ring out in Gu Fei's mind, the ground started to shake. Heavy footsteps could be heard from afar. Outside the Black Mountain tribe's holy temple, Shan Kui and his 18 loyal subordinates were on the verge of tears. What a huge black ape! From the forest outside the tribe, a black ape the size of a small mountain was walking towards them. The tall trees only reached the ape's waist. An extremely powerful baleful aura erupted from the black ape's body. Even Shan Kui, the leader of the Black Mountain tribe, was terrified to the extreme. It's the heavenly ape divine spirit of the heavenly ape tribe, the old priest exclaimed. Heavenly ape divinity? When Xiaoye saw the giant ape walking out of the forest, she was frightened. This giant ape was too big. In front of this giant ape, humans were as weak as ants. The guardian deity of the heavenly ape tribe was the strongest deity within a 300-mile radius. The deities of the Sky Wolf tribe, the Fire Bear tribe, and the Golden Lion tribe were just minions of the heavenly ape deity. Shan Kui and the others despaired when they saw this enormous ape. How could they go against such an enormous beast? This giant ape could trample them all to death with a single stomp. Who are you calling out to die? With his hands behind his back, Gu Fei slowly walked out of the sacred hall. Lord God! When the old shaman saw Gu Fei, he immediately knelt down in front of Gu Fei. Master! Xiaoye hurriedly bowed to Gu Fei as well. Xiaoye, you better watch carefully, Gu Fei said to his new disciple. Yes, master! Xiaoye hurriedly replied. Humph, a puny human dares to go against me? You're asking for it. By then, the giant ape had already arrived in front of the Black Mountain tribe's temple. Without another word, it stomped down on the temple. Xiaoye and the old shaman felt the sky darken. The giant ape's foot blocked the entire sky above the temple. Bam! They saw Gu Fei stomp on the ground with his right foot, and the hard bricks beneath his feet crumbled. In the next moment, he shot up into the sky and threw a punch at the giant ape's foot. Gu Fei's fist fiercely smashed into the giant ape's foot, directly piercing through the giant ape's foot and rushing out. Roar! The giant ape let out an earth-shattering roar and stumbled back. What? The three immortals nearby had been watching the show. But when they saw this, they were dumbfounded. The heavenly ape divinity was a true immortal, and yet he was punched through by a puny human? How was this possible? This was unbelievable. Furthermore, they did not feel any yuan qi from this human at all. In the courtyard in front of the divine temple, Xiaoya and the old shaman were stunned. The giant ape's blood rained down from the sky. Xiaoya dodged it, but it still drenched the old shaman. Roar! Ouch! The old shaman, who was drenched in the giant ape's blood, screamed in agony. His body began to glow with a faint red light. The giant ape was a true immortal, and its blood contained powerful essence qi. To the old shaman, it was as if he had jumped into a pool of boiling water and was burned by the essence qi contained in the giant ape's blood. What should we do? Xiaoya looked at the old shaman, who was struggling on the ground. She did not know how to save the old shaman. Give him some inner qi. Gu Fei's voice could be heard from outside the divine temple. Yes, master! Xiaoya flew forward and struck the old shaman with her palm. Inborn level inner qi surged from her palm and entered the old shaman's body. At this time, outside the divine temple, Gu Fei and the giant ape were engaged in a fierce battle. In front of the incomparably huge ape, Gu Fei was simply too small. Furthermore, his movement speed was also very fast, so the ape could not do anything to him for a while. The heavenly ape divinity was enraged, and the houses in the Black Mountain tribe suffered. Gu Fei's movement speed was very fast. The giant ape couldn't even touch the corner of his clothes, let alone injure him. Roar! The heavenly ape divinity roared. In the next moment, the giant ape's body shrank rapidly, and in the blink of an eye, the giant ape was the same size as Gu Fei. Roar! The heavenly ape divinity roared to the sky and pounded his chest with his fists. He then pounced on Gu Fei in a frenzy. Interesting. Gu Fei also pounced on the heavenly ape divinity. Boom! The two figures collided in an instant, and they were both knocked back by the force of the other's attack. Then, they charged at each other again and fought fiercely. Gu Fei's martial body was extremely strong. Even if he had only cultivated a trace of Wuji Qi, he could still compete with the heavenly ape divinity. Bang! Boom! Dull sounds of impact could be heard. Soon, the heavenly ape divinity was sent flying by Gu Fei's punch, and he crashed into a nearby stone house. The heavenly ape divinity was buried in a pile of rubble. Hee, it's been a long time since I had a good fight. Gu Fei's blood was boiling. His clothes were in tatters, and his left shoulder was scratched by the heavenly ape divinity. Boom! Just then, the pile of rubble exploded, and countless stones flew in all directions. Dozens of them were aimed at the holy sanctum. Gu Fei took a step forward and leaped onto the wall of the holy sanctum. He then threw a punch at the incoming stones. In the next moment, the dozen or so stones that were flying over paused in the void for a moment before directly shattering in the void. Chapter 4903. Gu Fei was fighting a heavenly ape of the heavenly ape tribe. This heavenly ape was a true immortal realm being. Furthermore, this heavenly ape was much stronger than the barbarian king's true immortal realm envoy. This heavenly ape was probably at the peak of the true immortal realm. Boom! At this moment, the entire Black Mountain tribe's holy palace shook violently. The heavenly ape had knocked Gu Fei into the holy palace. The man and the ape broke through the holy temple and rushed to the back mountain of the Black Mountain tribe, the forbidden area of the divine spirits. This was the place where the Black Mountain tribe worshipped their guardian deities. It was a sacred place. Only on specific days of worship could the Black Mountain tribe be led into this forbidden grounds by the high priest. But now, this place had become the battlefield between Gu Fei and the heavenly ape. One man and one ape fell to the ground. The heavenly ape grabbed a huge rock and threw it at Gu Fei. Boom! With a loud bang, Gu Fei was sent flying dozens of meters away by the huge rock. The moment he fell to the ground, he straightened his back and stood up. At the same time, a fist the size of a pot was right in front of him. Damn it! Gu Fei clenched his right hand and punched out to meet the incoming fist. When he punched out, there was a deafening sonic boom in the air. The primordial chi from his fist was very weak, but the power was very strong. Bang! The two fists collided, and in the next moment, two figures were sent flying. Gu Fei smashed through several boulders before he managed to stop himself from retreating. What a strong fella! Gu Fei couldn't help but be impressed. This heavenly ape was definitely a strength-type being. It was hard to believe that this fella's strength was on par with his own. One should know that Gu Fei's martial body had been tempered hundreds and thousands of times, and his cultivation had broken through to the half-step unbounded realm. Logically speaking, his martial body should have been enough to defeat all the living beings in this world. However, the reality was completely different. The creatures in the void realm were much stronger than the creatures in other worlds because the natural laws of this world were too strong and the spirit energy was too abundant. It couldn't be helped. This was talent, given by the heavens and earth. Furthermore, Gu Fei's martial body was also beginning to transform into the limitless martial body. His cultivation was in the midst of transformation. His cultivation did not disappear, it was just transformed. This made Gu Fei almost think that his cultivation had disappeared again. Kill! Gu Fei's feet pushed off the ground and he once again rushed towards the heavenly ape. The heavenly ape also rushed towards Gu Fei almost at the same time. The man and the ape started fighting again. The dull sounds of collision resounded continuously. The man and the ape were actually evenly matched, and it was hard to tell who was superior. This caused the three gods who were watching the battle from afar to be inexplicably shocked. The three immortal spirits were rejoicing in their hearts. Thankfully, the heavenly ape immortal spirit had made it in time. Otherwise, they would have died in the hands of that human. Bam! Gu Fei's fist landed on the heavenly ape's chest. At the same time, the heavenly ape's claw landed on his shoulder, and the man and the ape separated again. Damn! Gu Fei felt a burning pain on his left shoulder. Needless to say, his left shoulder had been scratched by the sky ape, leaving behind a few bloody scratches. However, the heavenly ape was not feeling well either. Fresh blood trickled from the corner of its mouth. After being injured, the heavenly ape became even crazier and more bloodthirsty. Roar! The heavenly ape immortal spirit roared at Gu Fei and charged towards Gu Fei. You think I'm afraid of you? Gu Fei went up to meet him. Another fierce battle ensued. Gu Fei realized that the more he fought, the more his potential was stimulated, and the more limitless chi was gathered in his body. The limitless chi in his body was like a small flame. Now, the little flame in his body was burning brighter and brighter. His martial body was like a dusty treasure. At this time, the treasure in Gu Fei's body was gradually being unearthed. The more he fought, the stronger he became. The more the heavenly ape immortal spirit fought, the weaker he became. Soon, Gu Fei sent the heavenly ape immortal spirit flying again. This time, the heavenly ape immortal spirit did not even manage to touch the corner of his clothes. Boom! The heavenly ape divinity was sent flying hundreds of feet away, crashing into the ancient altar. The force of the impact shattered the altar into pieces. However, what surprised Gu Fei was that a sarcophagus rolled out from the broken altar. It seemed that the sarcophagus was sealed in the altar. The heavenly ape crashed into the altar, and the sarcophagus fell out. At this time, Gu Fei did not have time to care about the sarcophagus. He took a step forward, and in an instant, he was above the heavenly ape immortal spirit. Boom! The sky ape divinity, who had just stood up from the pile of rubble, was stomped on the face by Gu Fei, sending him into the ground. Seeing this scene, the three great immortals who were watching from afar were stunned. This human was too strong. He had actually stepped on the heavenly ape immortal spirit. The heavenly ape immortal spirit was the strongest guardian immortal in the tribe within a radius of hundreds of miles. If even the heavenly ape immortal spirit was no match for this human, then the Black Mountain tribe would definitely be no match for him. When that time came, the Black Mountain tribe would become the strongest tribe within a radius of 100 miles. However, the Black Mountain tribe only existed in name. The entire Black Mountain tribe only had a little more than 20 people left, and they could no longer be called a tribe. At this time, Xiaoya, the old high priest, Shan Kuei, and the others were hiding in the holy temple. They could not see the battle in the forbidden area, and they did not know the situation. Powerful waves of yuan qi emanated from the forbidden area, and this terrified Xiaoya and the others. Gu Fei did not give the heavenly ape any chance to breathe. Rumble! The ground shook, and the heavenly ape that had been stepped on by Gu Fei rushed out from the ground. Fist of the Five Elements! Gu Fei used the Fist of the Five Elements. Without any suspense, the heavenly ape was sent flying. The Wuji Qi in Gu Fei's body increased by quite a bit. Submit to me, and I will spare your life. Gu Fei came in front of the heavenly ape immortal spirit and said coldly, Roar! The answer to Gu Fei was a roar. In the next moment, the heavenly ape immortal spirit's body grew rapidly, and in a few seconds, he was bigger than a mountain. The huge heavenly ape immortal spirit stomped his foot down on Gu Fei. Gu Fei punched again, and this time, it penetrated the soul of the heavenly ape immortal spirit's foot. Not going to submit? Then go to hell! Chapter 4904. As Gu Fei battled the sky ape, he became more and more courageous. The more he battled, the more power that had been sealed within his body awakened. At first, it was just a trickle, but as time went on, it became a mighty river. His cultivation did not disappear, but it was suppressed by the power of heaven and earth here. The laws of heaven and earth in the void realm were so strong that even his cultivation was suppressed. If you don't submit, then die! Gu Fei was never one to show mercy to his enemies. He could feel his power recovering, and the feeling of power gave him unparalleled confidence. To this world, he was an outsider. Therefore, the suppression he felt was much stronger than the creatures here. As he gradually understood the laws of heaven and earth here, the suppression would gradually weaken. As Gu Fei battled the sky ape, he devoured the heaven and earth spirit qi in a frenzy. Gradually, the heaven and earth spirit qi tempered his martial body, assimilating with the world. Boom! Gu Fei exploded, and a tyrannical power burst from his body. With a single punch, he sent the mountain-sized sky ape flying. Rumble! The sky ape smashed into the ground, sending a cloud of dust into the air. The ground shook, and as it slid across the ground, everything in its path was crushed. Roar! The sky ape roared and struggled to get up from the ground, coughing up blood. How can this be? You! The sky ape was shocked. This human was too abnormal. The more he fought, the stronger he became. At first, he could still fight with this guy, but now, he was being suppressed. Five Elements Fist! Gu Fei struck a fist stance, and the yuan qi in his body turned into 5 colors, quickly turning into the 5 elements qi. The sky ape took a deep breath, and his stomach swelled up. A ball of lightning appeared in his abdomen, and that ball of lightning surged up his throat. Boom! The sky ape opened its mouth and spat out a blinding ball of lightning at Gu Fei, blasting at Gu Fei. It was a ball of lightning that was incomparably huge. It was as if a divine sun had descended from the heavens. A terrifying aura of destruction emanated from the heavenly ape's body. At this time, the heavenly ape's gigantic body was filled with countless electric sparks. I'll suck! Gu Fei circulated his mysterious art as a powerful devouring force surged from his body. He extended his right hand and blocked the ball of lightning that was hurtling towards him. Pi pi pa pa pa! The lightning that exploded from the ball of lightning were like silver snakes. They slithered along Gu Fei's arm and instantly wrapped around his body, crawling all over his body. If it was an ordinary deity, how would they dare to contend against this destructive lightning? It was too late to dodge, But not only did Gu Fei single-handedly block the massive lightning ball, he was also devouring its power. Traces of electricity were swallowed into Gu Fei's body, and then turned into his own limitless qi. The lightning ball that Gu Fei had blocked with his right hand was constantly shrinking, and the powerful and violent lightning energy within the lightning ball was constantly being devoured and absorbed by him. All right. Seeing this, the heavenly ape reached out and pulled up a big tree next to it and threw it at Gu Fei. The big tree crossed over a dozen miles of the void and instantly smashed in front of Gu Fei. It was about to hit him. However, at this moment, the big tree was struck by a bolt of lightning from the lightning ball. In an instant, it turned into ashes and dissipated into the void. The heavenly ape charged straight at Gu Fei. The ground shook under its heavy footsteps, and everything in its path was smashed into pieces. The heavenly ape instantly rushed in front of Gu Fei and slapped Gu Fei. The sky above Gu Fei's head was shrouded by the giant hand, and dazzling electric sparks emerged from the heavenly ape's hand. Boom! With a loud bang, the heavenly ape's hand slapped Gu Fei into the ground, leaving a huge palm print on the ground. Dead? The three deities who were watching the battle from afar were extremely excited. If the heavenly ape killed this human, they would benefit from it as well. This human killed the three envoys sent by the barbarian emperor. Moreover, they had already received news that the general of the barbarian emperor city, Xianchong, was leading 1,000 red armor guards towards them. They were the most elite soldiers in the barbarian emperor city. Any random red armor guard was an innate realm expert, and Xianchong was even more powerful. Xianchong was a heavenly god. The heaven god mirror was an absolute expert. At least within 1,000 miles of the barbarian emperor city, no one was a match for Xianchong. The third master of the barbarian emperor city had actually sent Xianchong to the Black Mountain tribe with the red armor guards. This was enough to prove how important this matter was to the third master. Third master was the third son of the barbarian emperor. His status was extremely high. However, they were disappointed the next moment. The giant palm print on the ground suddenly exploded, and a figure rushed out from the ground. That person was none other than Gu Fei. At this moment, he had completely devoured the electric ball. A violent aura exploded from his body. In the next moment, he took a step forward and disappeared from the spot. What? The heavenly ape was taken aback. At this moment, Gu Fei suddenly appeared above the heavenly ape's head and stomped down on it. Bam! Gu Fei's foot landed on the heavenly ape's head, causing the mountain-like heavenly ape to kneel on the ground. The heavenly ape was fierce. He stretched out his hand and swatted at Gu Fei above his head, as if he was swatting a fly. However, Gu Fei directly soared into the sky, dodged the attack, and disappeared into the void. Not even the heavenly ape could sense where Gu Fei was. Cunning bastard! The heavenly ape was shocked and furious. Bam! Without warning, Gu Fei appeared behind the heavenly ape and landed a punch on the heavenly ape's back. This punch caused the heavenly ape to fall forward. Even if the heavenly ape was stronger than he could not take it anymore. Gu Fei's punch almost broke his spine. Kill! Gu Fei did not want to waste time with this guy, so he decided to use his trump card. Stop fighting, I am willing to submit. The heavenly ape could feel the terrifying wave of yuan qi coming from Gu Fei, and he could not help but panic and beg for mercy. At least you know what's good for you. Go and capture those three guys. Gu Fei gave the order to the heavenly ape. What? After hearing Gu Fei's words, the three guys who were watching from afar were dumbfounded. Without thinking, they turned around and fled. But who could escape from the heavenly ape divinity? Chapter 4905. Gu Fei subdued the true god Tian Yuan and ordered him to capture the guardian deities of the Fire Bear tribe and the other two tribes. He didn't hold back at all. He directly placed a restrictive technique on the four of them. As long as they showed any disloyalty, he would only need a single thought to destroy their bodies and souls. Tian Yuan and the others were the supreme deities of their respective tribes. They were high above the masses and ruled over the lives and deaths of the entire tribe. Who would have thought that they would become the captives of the human race today? Tian Yuan had wanted to feign surrender. But now that the human had cast a restriction spell on him, he had no choice but to obey the human's orders. By now, the entire Black Mountain tribe's sacrificial grounds were completely destroyed. The altar was smashed by Tian Yuan, and the stone coffin hidden within the altar was revealed. Gu Fei was curious about the sarcophagus, so he asked Tian Yuan to move the sarcophagus out of the ruins. There was no aura coming from the stone coffin. It was so natural that even Gu Fei could not tell which side of the coffin was the lid. Trying to be mysterious, Gu Fei punched out. Bam! A fist mark appeared on the stone coffin. Cracks appeared around the fist mark. However, to Gu Fei's surprise, the cracks on the stone coffin were disappearing. In just a few seconds, the cracks and fist mark on the stone coffin were gone. It can repair itself? Gu Fei was even more interested in the stone coffin now. Could it be? Tian Yuan's face turned ugly. He was the guardian deity of the Sky Ape tribe, and he was a true god. His knowledge was not something any ordinary deity could compare to. What do you know? Gu Fei looked at Tian Yuan and asked. This guy had returned to his normal form. This stone coffin, could it be the legendary eternal coffin? Tian Yuan's voice was trembling. Eternal. Eternal coffin? The Fire Bear tribe and the others were shocked. How could this be? The Fire Bear tribe stammered. Eternal coffin? What's that? Gu Fei curiously looked at the stone coffin in front of him. The sarcophagus was not big, and it seemed to be made of ordinary rock. There was nothing special about it. Moreover, the sarcophagus was not big, and it was less than 3 meters long. Compared to the other coffins Gu Fei had seen, it was pitifully small. Master, this longevity coffin is a legend of the southern barbarians. It's very strange. Tian Yuan pondered for a moment, and said, What kind of evil technique? Gu Fei was even more curious. It is rumored that this longevity coffin has the miraculous power to bring the dead back to life. Even if it is a living being that has died countless years ago, as long as its corpse remains, it will be able to come back to life after being buried in the longevity coffin. Tian Yuan continued. There's such a thing? Hearing this, Gu Fei could not help but be even more curious. A stone coffin could actually bring people back to life? It's just a legend. However, the strange thing is that all the people who obtained the longevity coffin seemed to experience unimaginable and terrifying things in the end. Tian Yuan looked at the sarcophagus on the ground in horror. It's just a sarcophagus. What's there to be afraid of? Gu Fei really despised these guys. They were actually scared by a mere sarcophagus. Master, don't be skeptical. If this sarcophagus is really the legendary longevity coffin, I think it's better if we don't touch it. Tian Yuan said. They were really afraid of this sarcophagus, and it was definitely not faked. I'd like to see if this sarcophagus is really that strange. Gu Fei said as he punched the sarcophagus on the ground again. Master. Seeing this, Tian Yuan and the others were immediately frightened. Bam! Gu Fei's fist slammed hard on the sarcophagus on the ground. In the next moment, the sarcophagus shook, and another fist mark appeared on it. However, this fist mark also disappeared very quickly. It's really a bit strange. Gu Fei was a little moved. He had used the limitless qi in this punch, which was a supreme qi that was a level higher than the primordial chaos qi. Because infinite qi could be transformed into infinity, which meant that infinite qi could be transformed into any qi in the world. Naturally, it could be transformed into primordial chaos qi. It actually devoured my qi? Gu Fei could not help but be surprised. This sarcophagus was really strange, and it could actually devour infinite qi. This was definitely not a good thing for him. Tian Yuan and the other deities were also shocked to the extreme. Gu Fei did not say anything. He walked forward and pressed his hand on the sarcophagus. In the next moment, Gu Fei seemed to see countless scenes flashing before his eyes. However, these scenes were very blurry. It was as if there was a figure standing between heaven and earth, facing the endless army in front of him, one man and one blade, killing his way into the army. Unparalleled heroism, even Gu Fei was moved. In the end, this person died in battle, and someone buried him in a sarcophagus. The scenes that appeared before Gu Fei's eyes flashed, and even Gu Fei himself was shocked. Could it be that there really was a great hero who died in battle and was buried in this sarcophagus? Was this the secret of the longevity sarcophagus? Gu Fei quickly retracted his hand from the sarcophagus. What's going on? Gu Fei stared at the sarcophagus in front of him with a very serious expression. How was he going to take this sarcophagus away? He still could not sense his own inner world because the power he had awakened was very limited. He could not even sense his own inner world. Without being able to sense the existence of his inner world, he could not open it. Chapter 4906. Barbarian Emperor City was not a big city. It was located in a remote area, and could not be compared to the bustling cities of the human race. However, Barbarian Emperor City had an advantage that no other city in southern Barbarian could compare to, and that was, Barbarian Emperor City was the birthplace of the current Barbarian Emperor. The current Barbarian Emperor had walked out of the Barbarian Imperial City. He had gone through countless dangers and unimaginable hardships. A young man who had walked out of the Barbarian Imperial City had relied on his own efforts and hard work to become the ruler of the countless tribes in the southern Barbarian land. The history of the current Barbarian Emperor's growth was the history of a loser's struggle. Barbarian Emperor City was originally a small city, and it was not originally called Barbarian Emperor City. It was only because of the current Barbarian Emperor that it was renamed to Barbarian Emperor City. In the eyes of countless people in southern Barbarian Emperor City was a special envoy. Especially the Red Armor Guards, they were the strongest soldiers within 1,000 miles radius of Barbarian Emperor City. The leader of the Red Armor Guards was called Xianchong. This guy was also a cruel and merciless person. In the area ruled by Barbarian Emperor City, if there was any resistance, he would immediately lead the Red Armor Guards to annihilate the tribe. Under such an iron rule, countless human tribes around Barbarian Emperor City dared not speak up, for fear of offending Xianchong. But Gu Fei's killing of the Barbarian Emperor's special envoy was like piercing the heavens. This Xianchong directly led 1,000 Red Armor Guards to the Black Mountain tribe. Xianchong did not waste any time, he immediately started killing the Black Mountain tribe. However, what surprised him was that almost all of the Black Mountain tribe's people ran away. There were only 20 people left, and he was not happy that he could not start a massacre. Kill them all! Xianchong sat on the red scale horse and said proudly. Yes, Lord General. The Crimson Armor Guards behind him responded in unison with an imposing manner. The Red Armor Guards' combat power was not just for show. They killed 5 or 6 of Shan Kuei's subordinates in one move, which shocked and angered Shan Kuei. At this time, Tian Yuan and the other 3 deities walked out of the Black Mountain tribe's temple. The Scarlet Armor Guards immediately retreated because the auras of these 4 deities were incomparably strong, especially Tian Yuan, who was a true God realm expert. Tian Yuan and the others had no choice but to come out. They had no choice but to come out, unless they wanted to die. So it's you 4 pieces of trash. Xianchong had long sensed the 4 fellows in the sacred hall. He was surprised to see them come out. Lord Xian. Tian Yuan didn't even dare to look at Xianchong, who was riding on the red-scaled colt. Do you want to end it yourselves, or do you want me to do it? Xianchong looked coldly at Tian Yuan and the others and said indifferently. He didn't put these guys in his eyes at all. These guys might be supreme rulers in their respective tribes, but in his eyes they were just a bunch of trash. What? Tian Yuan and the rest's expressions changed drastically. Xianchong was a heavenly god, they were no match for him at all. If their master didn't do anything, they would be dead meat. What an arrogant fellow! He actually dared to ask my subordinate to commit suicide? At that moment, a voice rang out from within the sacred hall. Who is it? Come out and face your death! Xianchong was enraged. It had been a long time since anyone dared to act presumptuously in front of him within a 1,000-mile radius of the barbarian emperor city. This fellow was dead meat. Who the hell do you think you are? Why would I come out just because you asked me to? The voice continued to resound in the sacred hall. At this moment, Tian Yuan and the rest of the deities were already trembling in fear. The heavenly god aura that erupted from Xiancheng's body was just too strong. The scarlet armor guards behind Xiancheng also retreated far away. Kill! Xiancheng roared and leaped from his scarlet scale horse, charging into the sacred hall. However, in the next moment, there was a muffled sound, and then a red figure was directly blasted out of the sacred hall. Boom! It smashed into a stone house 20 or 30 meters away, causing dust to fly into the air. Everyone was dumbfounded. Lord General! The 1,000 scarlet armor guards were even more dumbfounded. The person that flew out from the sacred hall of the Black Mountain tribe was their Lord General. How is this possible? Tian Yuan and the rest of the deities were also dumbfounded. It could not be helped, the scene was just too shocking and unbelievable. Xiancheng was the god of slaughter of the barbarian emperor city. With his heavenly god cultivation base, there were not many living beings in the entire barbarian emperor city that could fight against him. However, their master had actually sent Xiancheng, the god of death, flying. In fact, the person who was the most shocked was Xiaoya, who had always been beside Gu Fei. This was because no one could see it more clearly than her. When Xiancheng pounced in, her master had actually grabbed the sarcophagus on the ground and sent Xiancheng flying with it. The stone coffin in Gu Fei's hands was like an extra-large brick. After Gu Fei used the stone coffin to smash Xiancheng, he did not put it down. Instead, he continued to hold it in his hand. Roar! An angry roar came from the ruins of the stone house. In the next moment, the entire stone house exploded. Countless rocks flew in all directions. Some of the rocks were directly turned into dust by the burst of yuan qi. Xiancheng rushed out from the rubble. He was furious. He was sent flying as soon as he made a move. It was too embarrassing. I'm going to tear you into pieces! Xiancheng roared and charged at Gu Fei. His eyes were bloodshot. With a flip of his right hand, a giant halberd appeared in his hand. In an instant, he arrived in the sky above the sacred hall. Go to hell! Xiancheng swung the halberd in his hand with all his might and slashed at the figure in the sacred hall below. Buzz! The halberd in Xiancheng's hand let out a buzzing sound. Endless yuan qi poured down from the halberd. Before the halberd could even strike, the ground below was already filled with sand and stones. Shan Kui and the others were already scared out of their wits. Even Tian Yuan and the other 3 deities were shocked. They hurriedly circulated their energy to resist. Even the red armor guards, who had retreated far away, were in an uproar. Compared to Xiancheng's ferocious and domineering ways, Gu Fei remained calm and collected. He protected Xiaoya behind him and grabbed the stone coffin, smashing it at Xiancheng, who was descending from the sky like a god of death. Boom! Xiancheng's desperate strike landed on the stone coffin. Sparks flew in all directions as the halberd's blade sank into the stone coffin. What's going on? In the next moment, Xiancheng turned pale with fright. The yuan qi in his body was being continuously absorbed by the stone coffin. He wanted to retract the halberd, but his hand sank. The halberd was stuck in the stone coffin and could not be retracted. Xiancheng could only make a prompt decision. He let go of the halberd and flew backward. He stared at the stone coffin in Gu Fei's hand in extreme shock. You are only SOSO. Gu Fei reached out and pulled out the halberd that was stuck in the stone coffin. He saw that the hole in the stone coffin was repairing itself at a visible speed. Longevity coffin? Chapter 4907. The longevity coffin was a legend of Nanman, a legend about the rise of the human race. In the distant past, Nanman was the world of countless foreign deities, and the human race was just a slave enslaved by the foreign deities. However, A human powerhouse appeared out of nowhere and fought a bloody battle. In the end, he swept across the entire Nanman with his own strength and suppressed the entire Nanman, becoming the first barbarian emperor of Nanman. The longevity coffin was the coffin of the first barbarian emperor of the human race. At that time, everyone in the human race hoped that this great hero could be reborn. Therefore, when the barbarian emperor of the human race died, the human race buried his body in the longevity coffin. As for whether the barbarian emperor of the human race, who swept across Nanman and killed so many foreign deities, was reborn in the end, no one knew. That was because the longevity coffin had appeared too long ago. Moreover, it was an unfathomable mystery. In the present world, no one knew the ins and outs of the longevity coffin. However, everyone who had obtained the longevity coffin seemed to have met a tragic end. How is this possible? High up in the sky, Xianchong stared at the stone coffin in Gu Fei's hand, his voice trembling. This stone coffin was extremely strange. It could actually repair itself. The hole on the stone coffin that was cut by Xianchong's halberd had completely disappeared. At this time, everyone was shocked to the extreme. Gu Fei actually defeated Xianchong, a heaven realm powerhouse. Could he be stronger than a heaven realm powerhouse? Thinking of this, whether it was Xiaoya, the old shaman in the sacred hall, or Shan Kui and the others outside the sacred hall, they were all surprised and delighted. When Gu Fei killed the barbarian emperor's envoy, they were scared to death. One must know that the barbarian emperor was the ruler of Nanman, the strongest existence in Nanman. No one was optimistic about Gu Fei. Killing the envoy was equivalent to courting death. Therefore, the entire Black Mountain tribe fled, and the entire tribe was finished. Who would have thought that Gu Fei was a wolf in sheep's clothing? He actually had such powerful combat power. Even Xianchong seemed to be no match for him. If those who left knew about this, their intestines would probably turn green with regret. Haha, I didn't expect the longevity coffin to appear here. If I can offer it to the barbarian emperor, won't I soar? Xianchong's expression changed several times before he suddenly laughed out loud. He was proud and arrogant, so how could he be willing to stay in a remote place like barbarian imperial city? Offering up the longevity coffin was definitely a rare opportunity for him to leave the wildlands. That's a good idea, but do you have the ability to take this sarcophagus from me? Gu Fei placed the longevity coffin on the ground and stood with his hands behind his back. Then, he smiled at Xianchong, who was up in the sky. Little fellow, you don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. You think you're invincible just because you took advantage of me? What a joke! As Xianchong spoke, he flipped his right hand and a large bow immediately appeared in his hand. He pulled the bowstring and drew the bow. In the next moment, the surrounding spiritual energy frantically gathered towards the man and the bow. 3 spiritual arrows condensed from the spiritual energy of the world appeared on the bow. Powerful yuan qi fluctuations erupted from the man and the bow. Everyone was incomparably shocked. At this moment, Xianchong became the most eye-catching existence. However, Gu Fei remained calm. With a wave of his hand, he sent Xiaoya and the old high priest out of the sacred hall. If they were affected by the shockwaves of a battle of this level, the two of them would definitely die. He pulled out the halberd beside him and looked coldly at Xianchong in the sky. Kill! Xianchong exhaled and released his hand. 3 dazzling arrows shot towards Gu Fei in the sacred hall. The arrows were like meteors chasing after the moon, descending from the sky. Then I'll play with you. As Gu Fei spoke, he waved the halberd in his hand to block the arrows. Clang! One of the arrows was shattered by the halberd in Gu Fei's hand. As for the other 2 arrows, one brushed past his forehead, while the other hit his left shoulder. However, what shocked Xianchong was that the arrow that hit Gu Fei only pushed Gu Fei back a few steps before shattering. It did not harm Gu Fei at all. My martial body has been tempered hundreds and thousands of times. How can a mere arrow formed from spiritual energy hurt me? As Gu Fei spoke, he soared into the sky and charged towards Xianchong. His aura was imposing and his murderous aura was shocking. Damn it! Xianchong moved quickly in the sky and kept drawing his bow. He shot one sharp arrow after another at Gu Fei. Gu Fei brandished his halberd and smashed all the incoming arrows away. He strode in the air and caught up to Xian Chong in an instant. He swung his halberd at Xian Chong's head. What? Xian Chong was taken aback. In the next moment, he moved several meters to the side and dodged Gu Fei's halberd. Huh! Gu Fei was a little surprised. Xian Chong's ability to escape was not bad. Looks like I have to be more serious. At this moment, Xian Chong seemed to have changed into a different person. He gave off a cold aura and a terrifying wave of yuan qi erupted from his body. This is your true strength. Gu Fei did not continue to attack. At least you know what's good for you. Xian Chong sneered. His ambition was higher than the heavens. He actually sealed his own cultivation. He sealed his own cultivation to the Xiantian realm, then to the heavenly god realm, and then sealed his own cultivation to the heavenly deity realm. He used this method to accumulate experience and power. When his cultivation reached a certain level, he would break through to the divine king realm and become a divine king. This method was the safest way to break through to the divine king realm. He followed the third son of the barbarian king temporarily. He was very ambitious and was not willing to stay in this small place. Swoosh! At this moment, Xian Chong seemed to have turned into a divine eagle. With a shake of his arms, he disappeared into the void with extreme speed. Huh! Gu Fei was taken aback. Before he could even react, he felt as though he had been struck by a mountain. His entire body fell from the sky and smashed into the ground. A cloud of dust rose from the ground, filling the air with dust. Roar! Xian Chang's figure appeared again. Both of his palms slammed towards the place where Gu Fei fell. Green palm prints fell from the sky. Rumble! The earth shook, the soil was thrown into the air, and a huge crater was formed on the ground. Everyone was stunned by the scene. Could Gu Fei still survive such a fierce attack? Still not dead? Xian Chong slammed dozens of palms before he stopped. He was panting heavily. Even a heavenly god like him would find it hard to endure after slamming dozens of palms with all his might. Seeing this scene, Tian Yuan and the other three divine beings were dumbfounded. They could not even withstand a single palm from Xian Chong. Oh no! Chapter 4908. Gu Fei was actually blasted down from the sky by Xian Chong, who had suddenly erupted. The halberd in his hand had already flown to God knows where. Moreover, Xian Chong had attacked with all his strength, and had consecutively sent dozens of palm strikes towards the place where Gu Fei had fallen. He wanted to kill Gu Fei in one fell swoop. Dust filled the air as Xian Chong blasted a huge crater in the ground. You're not dead yet? Xian Chong panted heavily. He was very confident in his cultivation. He wasn't an ordinary heavenly god. Sigh, I really won't die. At this moment, a sigh came from the pit on the ground. Then, a figure walked out of the pit step by step. It was Gu Fei. Gu Fei was covered in dust. His clothes were tattered and his face was covered in dust. There was even a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. He was injured, but it was obvious that it was only a small injury. Gu Fei shook off the dust on his body and pointed his middle finger at Xian Chong. What? Xian Chong was both shocked and angry. He wasn't this guy's match earlier because he hadn't undone his seal. But now that he had undone his seal, he still couldn't take care of this guy. The four deities were overjoyed to see that Gu Fei was fine. Die! Xian Chong didn't waste any time and charged down from the sky. Good timing! Gu Fei spread his legs and got into a horse stance, then threw a punch at Xian Chong. Stomp! Xian Chong's right leg was like a venomous snake, aiming for Gu Fei's head. His foot was already in front of Gu Fei before Gu Fei's fist energy could explode. This surprised Gu Fei. Xian Chong's strength and speed were worlds apart from when this guy first attacked. It was as if he was a completely different person. Gu Fei tilted his head to the side to avoid his opponent's foot, but his opponent's left leg followed him like a shadow, ruthlessly kicking him in the chest. Bam! With a muffled sound, Gu Fei flew out again. Boom! He smashed through the high walls of the Black Mountain tribe and rolled out. Seeing this scene, everyone was dumbfounded. The ups and downs of the battle were too great. At the beginning, Gu Fei had crushed Xianchong and sent him flying. Now, it was Xianchang's turn to explode and send Gu Fei flying. What was going on? The emotions of the four deities were also fluctuating along with the battle. At this moment, they were already in the same boat as Gu Fei. If Gu Fei was killed by Xianchong, they would be buried with him. Hence, they could only pray that Gu Fei would defeat Xianchong. Sigh, not bad. Let's continue. Gu Fei walked through the hole in the wall, patted the dust off his body, and soared into the sky again. He had an incomparably strong martial body. Xianchang's attack did not cause much damage to him. On the other hand, his martial body was constantly devouring Xianchang's vitality. Just like that, the dormant power in Gu Fei's body was gradually awakening. It was as if he had a super treasure, but he could not find the key to open it. Now, he seemed to have found the key. What? Xianchong couldn't help but be moved. Even a heavenly god would die if he was hit by his heart-piercing kick just now. Why does this guy look like he's fine? I don't believe I can't kill you. Xianchong was furious. This guy who came out of nowhere had provoked him again and again. He had lost all his face in front of his subordinates. Divine Eagle Wings! Mountain Quaking Strike! Xianchong once again transformed into a divine eagle and increased his speed to the extreme. He appeared above Gu Fei's head in an instant. In the next moment, his fist smashed down on Gu Fei's head. Roar! Gu Fei roared and met the attack with his fists. Boom! Fist against fist, Gu Fei fell from the sky from Xianchang's mountain quaking fist. Like a meteorite, he smashed into the ground and created a huge pit. Xianchong was also sent flying by Gu Fei's fist energy. However, in the next moment, Xianchong directly pounced on Gu Fei from the sky. The two of them fought their way into the ground. The ground undulated like waves and cracks appeared on the ground. Even the Black Mountain tribe's sacred hall was on the verge of collapse. In Xianchang's eyes, Gu Fei was like a cockroach that couldn't be killed. No matter how powerful his attacks were, he couldn't seriously injure this guy. This made Xianchong extremely depressed. The most unbearable thing for Xianchong was that he had suffered a few punches from this guy. These punches caused his blood to boil, and he almost vomited blood. Unknowingly, Xianchong didn't even know how much of his yuan qi had been sucked away by Gu Fei. By the time he realized it, it was already too late. Boom! Two figures broke through the ground and rushed out. Heaven Quaking Fist! Heaven Quaking Fist! Xianchong directly used his trump card. His entire body turned into a ball of green light, like a green sun, and rushed towards Gu Fei. I'll grab it! Gu Fei extended his right hand and directly grabbed the ball of green light. He grabbed the fist hidden in the green light. Bam! With a muffled sound, Gu Fei felt an unprecedented force colliding with his opponent's fist. His entire body trembled a few times because of the opponent's fist force. He wanted to dissolve the opponent's fist force, but the fist force was too strong. Gu Fei was sent flying again. Boom! 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 He crashed through two stone houses in a row and then into a third stone house. He was directly buried under the rubble of the collapsed stone house. Is he dead now? This battle made Xianchong doubt his life. This was the first time he had encountered such a powerful opponent. His opponent's cultivation level was not high, but he had an incomparably strong body. The green light on Xianchang's body began to dissipate. He felt like his body was being hollowed out after that punch. Master! Tianyuan and the other deities almost couldn't help but flee when they saw this scene. Master! Tears welled up in Xiaoya's eyes. As for the old high priest, he was already paralyzed on the ground. The general is mighty! The general is invincible! The 1,000 red troopers cheered loudly when they saw this. Their general was still the best after all. That guy had overestimated himself and dared to fight with their general. It's over, it's all over. Shan Kui and his subordinates were in complete despair. However, at this moment, the sound of a stone rolling was heard. Everyone looked in the direction of the sound and saw the pile of rubble that Gu Fei was buried in move. Then, an arm reached out from the rubble. Everyone's eyeballs almost fell to the ground when they saw this. He's not dead? How is this possible? Chapter 4909. You still can't kill this guy? Xian Chong was dumbfounded. He had used every ounce of strength he had in that punch, but it still couldn't kill this guy. How else could he fight? At this moment, the pile of rubble started to shake and rocks started to roll down. A man climbed out from the rubble. Who else could it be other than Gu Fei? Tui! After climbing out of the rubble, Gu Fei spat out a mouthful of blood and sat on a rock, panting. His right hand was bent in a strange way. It was obvious that many of the bones in his arm had been broken. However, his right arm was constantly vibrating. The bones in his arm were returning to their original position, and his muscles were rapidly growing and healing. In just a few seconds, Gu Fei's right arm had completely recovered, as if it had never been injured in the first place. Seeing Gu Fei's terrifying recovery speed, everyone was dumbfounded. This was the legendary Undying Body. Even a God King's recovery speed couldn't be this freakish. Hey, that guy in red, don't be a man or a woman. Show me what you got. Gu Fei sat on the rubble and said to Xian Chong in the sky. You! Xian Chong was so angry that he almost vomited blood. Tian Yuan and the other three deities were surprised and overjoyed, but they didn't dare to laugh. No one had ever dared to speak to Xian Chong like that. He was a god of death. Who would dare to be impudent in front of him? Was he tired of living? If you don't make a move... Sigh, let's rest for a while. Gu Fei wanted to make a move, but he hadn't completely refined Xian Chang's yuan qi that had entered his body. His blood and qi were still roiling. Who the hell are you? Xian Chong was truly stunned by Gu Fei. At the same time, he was secretly recovering his yuan qi, and the surrounding heaven and earth's spiritual qi was gathering towards him. You don't have the right to know who I am. Since you're not going to make a move, it's my turn. As Gu Fei spoke, he stood up from the pile of rubble. Preposterous! Xian Chong was both shocked and angry. He took out something that looked like a carrot and took a few bites. A faint medicinal fragrance filled the air. He put away the carrot, and in the next moment, his face turned red. His eyes, ears, mouth, and nose were all steaming. Fire ginseng? When Gu Fei saw this, he was shocked. A radish-sized fire ginseng must have grown for at least 10,000 years. The medicinal potency it condensed was absolutely terrifying. This guy actually ate the 10,000 years fire ginseng like a carrot? After eating the 10,000-year fire ginseng, Xian Chang's body was undergoing astonishing changes. His natal yuan qi was yin qi, but this 10,000-year fire ginseng was yang qi. If yin and yang appeared on the same person at the same time, then there would be a problem. Yin and yang gathered in his body. Two completely opposite types of qi clashed and intertwined in Xian Chang's body, causing the qi in his body to multiply. You actually forced me to use this move. Your death was worth it. Xian Chong grinned at Gu Fei. One moment, his face was as red as a branding iron, and the next moment, it was as pale as black ice. It was extremely strange. However, the essence qi that erupted from Xian Chang's body was unprecedentedly powerful. TSK, I know this move of yours too. As Gu Fei spoke, the qi in his body quickly transformed into yin and yang qi. His face turned red from time to time, then white from time to time. You! How is this possible? When Xian Chong saw this, he was really shocked. This was his unique move. How could the other party know it too? Moreover, this guy didn't eat the 10,000-year fire ginseng. Could it be that he had cultivated yin and yang qi in his body? Kill! Xian Chong roared in anger and directly rushed towards Gu Fei. He didn't care too much about Gu Fei, he just wanted to kill this guy first. He struck out with his palm, and yin and yang qi gathered in his palm before exploding out. Eat my yin yang blazing palm! Xian Chong roared, and the violent palm force instantly enveloped Gu Fei. Have a taste of my yin yang fist! Gu Fei grinned and also punched out. His punch was different from Xian Chang's fist technique. His fist force was drawn but not released, directly breaking through Xian Chang's mighty fist force. Bang! Kacha! The two fists instantly collided, and the sound of bones breaking was heard. Xian Chong screamed and was sent flying. This time, the battle situation was reversed again. Now, it was Xian Chang's turn to be abused by Gu Fei. With just one punch, Xian Chang's right arm was broken by Gu Fei's punch. How is this possible? Xian Chong roared like a madman. In my opinion, nothing is impossible. Gu Fei took a step forward and instantly caught up to Xian Chong. Then, he punched out again. Bang! With a muffled sound, Gu Fei's punch landed squarely on Xian Chang's chest, causing it to collapse. Xian Chong was sent flying more than 10 zhang away and directly smashed into a stone house. What goes around comes around. This time, it was Xian Chang's turn to be buried under the collapsed stone house. Now you feel good, right? Gu Fei maintained his punching posture and said with a solemn expression. Lord General. Seeing Xian Chong being sent flying by Gu Fei's punch and buried under the rubble, they couldn't help but turn pale with fright. The two deputy generals immediately led their men and rushed towards the collapsed stone house. The iron hooves of the red-scaled colts caused the ground to shake and dust to fly. These soldiers were not bad. To be able to train such a troop of soldiers, Xian Chong did indeed have some ability. The two deputy generals jumped down from their horses and rushed forward to move the stones. The red-armored guards also got down from their horses and rushed forward. The people of the Black Mountain tribe lived in stone houses. They used materials from the local area. These were not ordinary stones, but black rocks that were extremely hard. Being buried under these black rocks was definitely not a comfortable thing. The group of red-armored guards quickly moved the stones away and rescued Xian Chong, who was buried under the stones. At this moment, Xian Chong was in an extremely sorry state. His right arm was broken, his chest was caved in, and his body was covered in blood. He was half dead. However, because he was a heavenly god, he wouldn't die even if he suffered such a serious injury. However, he didn't have a terrifying recovery ability like Gu Fei. If he wanted to recover, he would need at least 1 to 2 weeks. General! The two deputy generals carefully carried Xian Chong out. Go! Xian Chong spat out these 2 words from his throat. Front team, clear the path. Back team, defend. One of the deputy generals roared, and the 1,000 red-armored guards quickly got on their horses and started moving. Ha ha! Gu Fei laughed. You still want to leave at this time? Do you think I'm invisible? Gu Fei said while laughing. At this moment, the red-armored guards' faces were very solemn. They immediately protected Xian Chong and retreated. What are you waiting for? It's your turn, Gu Fei said to Tian Yuan and the other 3 who were watching the show. Yes, master! Chapter 49:10. Trying to escape just because you can't win? Xian Chong was too naive. He was the god of death within 1,000 miles of the barbarian emperor city. As long as a tribe offended him, there would only be one outcome: annihilation by him. However, today, he wanted to bring the Red Armor Guards to destroy the Black Mountain tribe. Who would have thought that a freak would appear and defeat him? Thus, he was out of luck. At this time, the 1,000 Red Armor Guards quickly retreated under the command of the 2 deputies. However, under Gu Fei's command, Tian Yuan and the other 3 deities charged towards the Red Armor Guards. Roar! The sky ape instantly transformed into a giant ape that was even bigger than a mountain. He directly stomped on the Scarlet Armor Guard. What? When the Scarlet Armor Guards saw this scene, they were so scared that they almost peed their pants. All the Scarlet Armor Guards scrambled to hide in all directions. Boom! As the giant ape's foot landed, More than a dozen red armor guards could not dodge in time and were crushed into meat paste along with their horses. "Damn it!" a deputy general of the Scarlet Armor Guard bellowed. He leaped up from his horse and charged towards the giant ape. This was a true God Realm expert. In the Void Realm, only true God Realm beings could be called true deities. Boom! The deputy punched out and blocked the giant ape's palm. Powerful yuan chi rippled out in all directions. The surrounding red armor guards were shaken by this force and were in a sorry state. At this time, Hu Xiong, Tian Lang, and Jin Shi were also making their moves. These three were revered as deities by their respective tribes, so they naturally had some skills. Hu Xiong, in particular, spat out a fireball towards the red armor guards. Boom! With a loud bang, the fireball blasted into the midst of the red armor guards and exploded. The fire instantly enveloped an area of more than 100 feet in radius. 20 to 30 red armor guards were engulfed by the fire. They screamed and struggled in the sea of fire, but were soon burned to ashes. The heavenly wolf had a pair of wings. With a flap of its wings, astral winds howled, and countless scarlet guards were swept into the air. Then they fell from the sky. If they weren't smashed to death, they were at least half dead. The golden lion, on the other hand, was extremely ferocious. It directly rushed into the midst of the red armor guards and killed them with a single claw. The armor of the red armor guards was as fragile as paper under the golden lion's sharp claws. "You guys protect the general and jump. We'll cover the rear." Another deputy general roared at the dozen bodyguards beside him. "My lord, you..." The dozen or so personal guards were all shocked, because they knew very well that the people who stayed behind might not be able to survive, because the guy who defeated the general had not made a move yet. "Let's go." "Do you want us to be wiped out?" the deputy general roared. "Yes, my lord." A dozen bodyguards immediately rushed out, protecting Xianchong. No one would have thought that they would have to flee like stray dogs after coming here in such a menacing manner. Gu Fei didn't care about this. He directly turned and walked into the sacred hall. He then took a bath at the back of the sacred hall and changed into a clean set of clothes before walking out again. In the battle with Xianchong, he had once again activated a small portion of the power that had been sealed in his body for a long time. His cultivation base still couldn't be judged by the cultivation realms in the Void Realm. "Master, Lord Deity." Xiaoye and the old shaman came up to him. "How is it?" Gu Fei asked. Xianchong escaped. Xiaoye carefully looked at Gu Fei and said, "Master, why did you let Xianchong go?" Xiaoye was puzzled. "He's just a kid. I didn't intend to kill him." Gu Fei shrugged and said indifferently. "But..." Xiaoye wanted to say more, but she swallowed her words. Her master naturally had his reasons for doing this. Her master would definitely not let Xianchong go for no reason. At this time, the battle outside was still going on. The two deputies of the Red Armor Guards were also impressive. They actually managed to stop the four deities from leaving the Black Mountain tribe. Of course, the number of Red Armor Guards that managed to escape was less than 100. It could be said that today was the Red Armor Guards' nightmare. The Red Armor Guards had never suffered such a heavy loss in the barbarian Emperor city. 1,000 Red Armor Guards was enough to wipe out countless tribes within 1,000 miles radius. But today, the most elite army under the third son of the barbarian Emperor city was defeated by a small tribe like the Black Mountain tribe. Tian Yuan and the other deities joined forces to fight against the two deputies of the Red Armor Guards. The two deputies were both true God Realm experts and they fought with Tian Yuan. Hu Xiong and the other deities attacked from the side. Because they were only at the true God Realm, they couldn't interfere and could only harass the two deputies. Even so, Hu Xiong was still slashed by one of the deputy generals and almost lost his life. Gu Fei walked out of the sacred hall. "Greetings, Lord Deity." Chan Kui and the others quickly knelt down and paid their respects to Gu Fei. "Get up." Gu Fei casually waved his hand. "Thank you, Lord Deity." Chan Kui and his men lowered their heads and stood up from the ground. They didn't dare to look at Gu Fei. Gu Fei looked towards the entrance of the Black Mountain tribe and saw 3 figures fighting in the sky. Tian Yuan was extremely ferocious. Although it was 1 against 2, he could still fight the 2 deputies of the Red Armor Guards to a stalemate. At this time, the 4 deities had no way back because their hands were stained with the blood of the Red Armor Guards. Now, the so-called deities of the tribe could only follow Gu Fei to the end because the barbarian emperor's strength was well known in the south. The barbarian emperor's special envoy could not die in vain. The Red Armor Guards under the 3rd son of the barbarian emperor could not die in vain. Therefore, everyone could predict that a storm would break out in the south. How many years has it been? No one dared to challenge the barbarian emperor. Who is that person? In the Black Mountain tribe, the news of the defeat of the Red Armor Guards quickly spread and shocked all directions. Countless tribes who received the news were alarmed. This was a heaven-piercing matter. Everyone was very interested in the fierce man who suddenly appeared in the Black Mountain tribe. One must know that ever since the barbarian emperor unified the south, there were only a few people who dared to resist the barbarian emperor. Moreover, these people who resisted the barbarian emperor were all killed by the barbarian emperor. Even their tribes were completely wiped out. Now that there was someone who dared to fight against the barbarian emperor, the leaders of countless tribes wanted to know who this fierce man was. Countless tribe spies began to take action. At this time, the battle in the Black Mountain tribe was still going on. Gu Fei had no intention of making a move. If he had to do everything himself, then why did he subdue these subordinates? He asked the old priest to bring a big chair over. He lay on the big chair, crossed his legs, ate the fruit handed by the little girl, and looked at the battle in the sky in front of him. He was very satisfied. The old ape is still hiding his strength. Gu Fei ate a red fruit. The fruit melted in his mouth. It was not a spiritual fruit, but it was very sweet and delicious. Master, has the heavenly ape deity not done his best? The little girl said in surprise. The others were also surprised. If the old ape wants to play, then let him play, Gu Fei said disapprovingly. The 3 of you, go and get me the 1,000 years fire ginseng from Xianchong, Gu Fei said to Huixiong and the other 2 deities. Yes, master. Chapter 49:11. The result of the battle in the Black Mountain tribe was beyond everyone's expectations. The Scarlet Guards under the 3rd son of Barbarian King were defeated. The news spread and shook southern Barbarian. This happened in the area under the jurisdiction of the 3rd son of Barbarian King. Man Yao was so angry that he directly smashed the throne in the palace. Xianchong was carried directly to the palace. He was lying motionless on a stretcher. His body was stained with blood. This was the masterpiece of the 3 great gods, Huixiong, Tianlang, and Jin Shi. They caught up to the group of Scarlet Armor Guards that were protecting Xianchong, and then the group of Scarlet Armor Guards was abused by them. They didn't kill Xianchong, but he was miserably beaten. God knows how many bones in his body were broken and everything on him was taken away by the 3 gods. Of course, the 3 gods' target was the 1,000-year fire ginseng because it was what their master wanted. They naturally didn't dare to neglect it. Damn it! In the palace, the 3rd son of Barbarian King, Man Yao, was trembling with anger. Someone go and kill that guy for me. Man Yao stood in front of the throne and glanced at his subordinates. No one in the palace spoke. Xianchong lying on the stretcher was a warning. Who would dare to provoke the unknown existence of the Black Mountain tribe? Since these fellows were able to stand in the main hall of the Barbarian Emperor City's City Lord estate, they were all incomparably shrewd fellows. All of them wanted to protect themselves, so it was better to let others do the arduous and thankless work. A bunch of trash, why should I raise you? You're better off raising a group of pigs. Man Yao scolded the people below. Everyone in the palace had a dignified expression. Although they were scolded, no one spoke. These guys were really good at enduring. Really pissing me off, Man Yao said while gasping for breath. He was very disappointed. Although he was the city lord of Barbarian King City, he didn't have many subordinates. This was much worse than when he was in Nanman City. In Nanman City, he could call the wind and summon the rain. In this barren place, he was like a dragon trapped in a small pond. These years, he was going crazy. Don't think I don't know what you're thinking. You want to do nothing? Dream on! Man Yao roared at the people in the hall. City Lord, don't you feel bored? If that's the case, why don't you send out the City Lord's order and summon all the tribes in your territory to come and destroy the Black Mountain tribe? An old man walked out and said to Man Yao. Old Mo, that's a good idea. Man Yao's eyes lit up. He was the City Lord of Barbarian Emperor City, and there were countless human tribes in his territory. He had the authority to command these tribes in his territory. Moreover, these tribes had to obey the orders of him, the city governor of Barbarian Emperor City, and those who disobeyed would be seen as rebels and would be annihilated. Then pass down my City Lord's order. Order all the lords of the various tribes to lead their elites to Barbarian Emperor City at once. Man Yao shouted. He would do what he thought and never hesitate. His decisive personality was similar to his father's. Yes, City Lord. Then, Old Man Mo left the hall after receiving the order. Soon, messenger eagles soared into the sky from Barbarian Emperor City and flew in all directions. Meanwhile, the battle at the Black Mountain tribe came to an end. The two deputy generals of the Crimson Armor Guards didn't manage to leave the Black Mountain tribe alive. In the end, they were killed by Tian Yuan in the mountains outside the Black Mountain tribe. However, everyone was only happy for half a day when news came that the City Lord of Barbarian Emperor City, Man Yao, had issued a City Lord order to the surrounding tribes, gathering all the lords and gods of the tribes, and he intended to attack them together. This, Shan Kui and the others were shocked. No one expected Barbarian Emperor City to retaliate so quickly and fiercely. They actually wanted to summon all the tribes and divine spirits to annihilate them. On the other hand, Tian Yuan, Hui Xiong, and the other divine spirits were still calm. Because Xian Chong was one of the strongest fighters in Barbarian Emperor City. Of course, the third son of Barbarian Emperor Man Yao had never fought before, so no one knew how strong he was. In fact, the reason why Gu Fei didn't kill Xian Chong and let Hui Xiong and the others torture Xian Chong was to provoke the third master of Barbarian Emperor City to make a move. However, the third master didn't play his cards normally. He actually summoned all the heroes to besiege Xian Chong. Since that was the case, then he would play with him. Gu Fei directly ordered the gods of Tian Yuan, Hui Xiong, Tian Lang, and Jin Shi to move their respective tribes to the Black Mountain tribe so that they wouldn't be defeated by the third master one by one. And the third master of Barbarian Emperor City needed time to summon all the lords and divine spirits in his territory. Taking advantage of this time, Gu Fei could also make some arrangements. However, even if Gu Fei defeated Xian Chong, there were still not many people who were optimistic about his chances. After all, Barbarian Emperor didn't rule South Barbarian in a day and night. His cultivation base and combat strength were definitely the first in South Barbarian. How could this guy who came out of nowhere be a match for Barbarian Emperor? If Gu Fei wanted to compete with Barbarian Emperor, it was tantamount to hitting a stone with an egg and digging his own grave. After the people of the four major tribes learned that their gods had surrendered to Gu Fei, more than half of the people of the four major tribes also dispersed. There were only a few thousand people who really stayed. This made the four great gods feel very helpless. The power of Barbarian Emperor was really unimaginable. Those who left will come back. After saying such a sentence, Gu Fei directly entered the temple and didn't see anyone. He wanted to study the incomparably strange longevity coffin. This longevity coffin was interesting. It seemed to have a life of its own and could even devour vitality. All the attacks that hit the stone coffin couldn't really cause any damage. Gu Fei was really curious. Was there really a great hero buried in this stone coffin? No one could answer Gu Fei. At this time, the stone coffin in front of him was completely silent. There was no aura coming out. It was natural, as if it was born from heaven and earth. Could it be? A possibility came to Gu Fei and he couldn't help but be inexplicably shocked. This stone coffin had the power to bring the dead back to life. Could it be the legendary heavenly embryo? The so-called heavenly embryo was a place that was nurtured in the spirit veins of heaven and earth. In this place, living beings could often be born. However, there were people who wanted to be reborn, so they buried themselves in the heavenly embryo, using the characteristics of the heavenly embryo to want to be reborn against the heavens. The so-called heavenly embryo was actually incomparable to the chaos embryo. The chaos embryo gave birth to heaven and earth, while the heavenly embryo gave birth to innate life.
Forget it, who cares who was buried here, what does it have to do with me?
Gu Fei directly threw the longevity coffin to the side. At this time, the barbarian emperor's city was incomparably lively. The entire city seemed to be filled with people, and the roars of wild beasts could be heard everywhere. And this was still in the city. The scene outside the city was even more spectacular. The outskirts of the barbarian emperor's city were densely packed with people. Banners fluttered in the wind, and killing intent soared to the sky. All the tribes within 1,000 miles had sent their most elite soldiers to the barbarian emperor's city. Chapter 49:12. The current barbarian emperor's city had never been so lively. The territory of barbarian emperor's city had a radius of 1,000 miles with barbarian emperor's city as the center. Within this 1,000 miles, there were countless human tribes. This place might be a remote and desolate place to Man Yao, but in the void realm, the spiritual energy was dense. Even a remote and desolate place could give birth to powerful creatures.
Haha, so many people came, it's really unexpected.
Under the scorching sun, Man Yao stood on the city wall and looked at the densely packed army outside the city. His blood began to boil. He hadn't felt this way for a long time. Among the 5 regions of the Void Realm, Southern Barbarian was much weaker than the other 4 regions. However, the people of Southern Barbarian were brave and good at fighting. It wouldn't be easy for the other 4 regions to defeat the Barbarian Emperor. For thousands of years, Southern Barbarian had been under the rule of the Barbarian Emperor. The other forces couldn't extend their tentacles into Southern Barbarian. This was the world of the Barbarian Emperor. The Barbarian Emperor used troops against the outside world, but he ruled by force internally. No one dared to resist. But now, in a small place like the Barbarian Emperor's city, there was someone who dared to resist the Barbarian Emperor. When the news spread, everyone was shocked. Moreover, it was in the place where the Barbarian Emperor rose. This was extraordinary.
Young master, haven't you been suffering from not having a chance to show off? Now is your chance to shine.
An old servant in green stood behind Man Yao. Looking at the high-spirited Man Yao, he was also a little excited.
Humph! It's not that father doesn't know my ability. He's just afraid that I'll threaten Big Brother's position. That's why he demoted me to this remote place.
Man Yao sneered. As the 3rd son of the Barbarian Emperor, he wasn't the first in line to inherit the throne. There were still Big Brother and Second Brother in front of him. However, his Big Brother and Second Brother weren't as talented as him. However, the first son of the Barbarian Emperor, Man Xiong, had been by the Barbarian Emperor's side since he was young. When he was in his teens, he followed the Barbarian Emperor to conquer the world. His prestige in Southern Barbarian was not small. His second brother was a hedonistic son who liked to hang out in brothels. However, no one knew whether he was pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger or not. Man Yao was a very high-profile person. This was also the reason why his father, Man Emperor, chased him to the Barbarian Emperor's city. This time, he easily gathered the armies of 127 tribes. All 127 tribal gods rushed to Barbarian Emperor's city after receiving his city lord's order. An army of hundreds of thousands. Although it was a mixed army, the tribes here constantly attacked each other, fighting endlessly. Everyone was brave and fierce, and their combat strength was not weak. Of course, when compared to the regular army under the command of the Barbarian Emperor, these ragtag troops naturally couldn't compare at all.
Let's go back to the main hall and meet those so-called tribal gods.
Man Yao waved his sleeves, jumped off the city wall, and headed towards the city lord's mansion with the old servant. At this time, all the divine spirits of the 127 tribes had gathered in the main hall of the city lord's mansion. All the people, including all the non-humankind creatures, were standing in the main hall obediently. No one said a word. It was extremely quiet. In fact, all of them knew why this third lord had summoned them here. Needless to say, he wanted them to be the vanguard, the cannon fodder. However, even if they knew that the third lord of the barbarian emperor's city wanted them to be cannon fodder, they didn't dare to not come. Because those who didn't listen to the order would be seen as traitors. The consequences of rebellion were very serious. They would be directly annihilated, and the entire tribe would be finished. Even the tribal gods wouldn't be able to escape. They would be directly killed, their bodies and souls destroyed. "Third Lord has arrived!" A voice came from outside the main hall, and then the light at the entrance of the main hall dimmed. A figure walked in with majestic steps. Compared to the grand scene in barbarian Emperor City, the Black Mountain tribe was much more deserted. There was not a single person in the huge Black Mountain tribe's territory. Most people were gathered around the Black Mountain tribe's divine palace. Everyone felt that they would only be safe if they gathered around Gu Fei. This was not wrong, because even Tian Yuan, Huixiong, and the other foreign races' gods were gathered around the divine palace. Gu Fei, who was regarded as a supreme deity by them, was now in the divine temple, idly listening to the old priest introduce the situation of the surrounding tribes. However, because of the limitations of the old shaman, he didn't know how many human tribes were scattered across the entire barbarian emperor city. At this time, even if Gu Fei didn't cultivate, the qi in his body would constantly devour the surrounding spiritual qi of heaven and earth. A small part of the yuan qi that was sealed in his body had also awakened. If Xian Chong came to cause trouble now, he could slap this guy back to his grandmother's house. "Master, how confident are you?" Xiaoya couldn't help but ask. "I don't know." Gu Fei smiled. "You don't know?" The old shaman's hand trembled when he heard this, and the bowl of meat soup fell to the ground. "This?" The old shaman quickly picked up the bowl. At this time, in the courtyard of the divine palace, a large bronze cauldron was boiling a large pot of meat soup. This was the meat soup that Shan Kuei and his men had hunted in the nearby mountains. The prey that Shan Kuei and his men hunted included wild boars, birds, and even a large snake. Their method of processing the prey was also very simple. After cleaning it, they directly chopped it up and threw it into the cauldron to cook. This kind of meat soup was very delicious. Gu Fei was also a human, and he also needed to eat. He also drank meat soup and drank liquor with Xiaoya and the rest. Outside the divine palace, Shan Kuei and his men were also using the cauldron to cook meat soup, or building a bonfire to roast the prey that they hunted. The people of the primitive tribes ate simple food. Thousands of people ate together, and the Black Mountain tribe was filled with smoke. It was a peaceful scene. Regardless of which world they came from, they all worked hard to eat their fill. Everyone worked hard to survive. It was that simple, as long as they could survive. Gu Fei felt a little emotional. Wasn't he also fighting for survival? "You guys don't have to be so afraid of me. I'm also a human. Actually, the gods are just some powerful living beings. What's there to be afraid of?" Gu Fei said to Xiaoya and the old shaman. Xiaoya and the old shaman were shocked. This was the first time they heard of such a saying. Humans could also defeat the gods, but the gods were all high and mighty, as though they were above the mortals. To the old shaman and the rest, the gods were powerful and mysterious existences. However, the arrival of Gu Fei had shattered their understanding. Those mysterious and powerful gods trembled in fear in front of a human like Gu Fei. This scene shocked Xiaoya and the old shaman. At this time, in the barbarian Emperor City, which was about 300 miles away from the Black Mountain tribe, the army of 127 tribes started to move out, heading towards the Black Mountain tribe. Chapter 49:13. When the army of barbarian sovereign city charged towards the Black Mountain tribe, The people of the Black Mountain tribe were cooking meat soup and barbecuing their prey. In the evening, the sunset glow was like blood. Smoke rose from the chimneys of the Black Mountain tribe. The atmosphere was calm and peaceful. No one knew how long this peaceful scene would last. The barbarian sovereign city was only 300 li away from the Black Mountain tribe. With the speed of the army of barbarian sovereign city, the vanguard of the army would reach the Black Mountain tribe by tomorrow morning or noon at the latest. This was because there was an air force in the army. It was the winged army of the winged tribe. Every soldier of the winged tribe rode a winged beast. The speed of the winged army was much faster than the army on the ground. The winged tribe sent out all their elites this time. All 5,000 winged army were dispatched. This was the strength of the winged tribe. 5,000 winged army was equivalent to 5,000 winged beasts. Only the winged tribe could send out so many winged beasts because the guardian deity of the winged tribe was a god-realm winged beast king. Only the king of the winged tribe could control so many winged beasts. The king of the winged tribe wasn't stupid. It wouldn't bring its 5,000 winged army to the Black Mountain tribe. Even someone as powerful as Xian Chong was crippled. It wasn't a match for Xian Chong. The 5,000 winged army wouldn't even be enough to fill the gap between the teeth of that guy and the Black Mountain tribe. Because the Heavenly Ape, Fire Bear, Heavenly Wolf, and Golden Lion tribes were subdued by that guy. The Heavenly Ape was a heavenly god. Unless the head of the winged tribe was kicked by a donkey, it wouldn't dare to bring its troops to the Black Mountain tribe alone. After nightfall, the army of barbarian sovereign city was still advancing. Wherever they passed, all the powerful beings retreated. Even some powerful solitary cultivators retreated quietly. Who dared to block their path? This was the army of the Third Lord. Man Yao led the army until late at night before setting up camp. He wasn't in a hurry. This time, he took it as a chance to relax. Staying in the barbarian sovereign city for the past few years was too boring. It was rare for him to have an excuse to summon the tribes in the territory. In fact, if Gu Fei didn't kill the envoy of the barbarian sovereign, Man Yao wouldn't have the authority to summon all the tribes in the territory even if he was the third son of the barbarian sovereign city. No one dared to blatantly raise an army. In the southern barbarians, anyone who raised an army would be regarded as a traitor and would have their entire clan exterminated. At this time, Gu Fei already knew that the army gathered by the third son of the barbarian emperor city was less than 100 miles away from the Black Mountain tribe. Barbarian King's army would arrive at the Black Mountain tribe tomorrow. The army of the Barbarian tribe. And Barbarian Sovereign tribe. Heavenly Ape, Hu Xiong, Tian Lang, and Jin Shi were all sent out by Gu Fei. In the Black Mountain tribe, Gu Fei was the only one in charge. The night passed peacefully. Early in the morning, after Man Yao's army ate and drank their fill, they began to march. Countless people silently marched through the mountains. Only the sound of footsteps and the roars of beasts could be heard. Man Yao, on the other hand, was sitting on a throne carried by dozens of people. There were 2 maids serving him, pouring tea and wine for him and feeding him fruits. This guy was really enjoying himself, but the others were having a hard time. However, no one dared to complain. At noon, Man Yao's army was less than 50 li away from the Black Mountain tribe. City Lord, the Coiling Dragon Gorge is just ahead. Should we stop and reorganize before continuing? At this moment, a middle-aged general clad in battle armor rode a red-scale colt and charged over from the front. Coiling Dragon Gorge? What is that place? Man Yao lazily said as he reclined on his throne. It's a dangerous place where one man can hold the pass against 10,000 enemies, the general said with a solemn expression. Ha! Do you think the people of the Black Mountain tribe would dare to ambush us in the Coiling Dragon Gorge? Man Yao laughed out loud. In his eyes, the people of the Black Mountain tribe were like a plate of loose sand. The person who defeated Xian Chong might be someone impressive, but under the iron hooves of his army, even a god king would be ruthlessly crushed. But the general wanted to say more. Then send someone to take a look, Man Yao said disapprovingly. Yes, City Lord. The general accepted the order and left. Soon, The winged army soared into the sky towards the coiling dragon gorge. The coiling dragon gorge was a natural stronghold. The gorge wasn't straight, but twisted like a dragon coiling between the mountains. Moreover, the gorge was very long, at least 20 to 30 li. After passing through the gorge, they would enter the territory of the Black Mountain tribe. Of course, Man Yao's army could take a detour and not go through the coiling dragon gorge. However, taking a detour would take at least 2 days. How could Man Yao be willing to spend another 2 days? His army directly crushed the Black Mountain tribe and killed that person. Then, they returned to the city. This wasn't Man Yao's first time as a commander. He commanded hundreds of thousands of troops. He was a general under his father, Man Emperor. However, he was eccentric and sometimes even acted on his own, disobeying orders. That was why he was chased to this remote place by his father. This time, he only wanted to satisfy the craving of leading an army of a few 100,000. In fact, there was no need to mobilize so many people to get rid of the Black Mountain tribe. Right at this moment, streaks of fire shot into the sky from the coiling dragon gorge and hit the dozens of winged army soldiers who were flying above the coiling dragon gorge. With a series of loud noises, the dozens of winged soldiers turned into fireballs one after another and fell from the sky. At this moment, a thick fog came out from the coiling dragon gorge. Soon, the entire coiling dragon gorge was shrouded in fog. Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked. There was actually an ambush in the coiling dragon gorge. Just a bunch of clowns. Who's going to kill them? Man Yao, who was sitting on his throne, said indifferently. Man Yao's subordinates were speechless. No one wanted to take action. My wind-fire halberd will belong to whoever can kill them. Man Yao took out a halberd and waved his hand. The halberd flew out from his hand and stabbed into a nearby rock. Stone fragments flew everywhere. The halberd was surrounded by fire energy. The surrounding flowers and trees were swaying and an invisible wind was swirling around the halberd. Heavenly divine weapon? Seeing this, the eyes of the tribe's subordinates turned red. This was a heavenly divine weapon. Who wouldn't be greedy? Who wouldn't want it? With a great reward, the hesitant tribe's subordinates immediately took action. Chapter 49:14. There weren't many heavenly gods in the barbarian emperor city, and it wasn't easy to forge a heavenly god weapon. In the Void Realm, there were very few blacksmiths who knew how to forge weapons. In the eyes of the gods in the barbarian emperor city, a heavenly god weapon was a priceless treasure. Everyone wanted one. After all, a heavenly god with a heavenly god weapon could increase one's battle prowess by at least 30%. This was why so many gods fought over Man Yao's windfire halberd. Like a group of demons dancing in the air, one after another, the non-humankind gods revealed their true forms, rose into the sky, and directly rushed into the coiling dragon gorge, striving to be the first. A human-shaped god's spirit transformed into a huge black bird. With a flap of its wings, it charged into the coiling dragon gorge at an incredible speed. There was also a humanoid god whose body swayed and turned into a barbarian elephant the size of a small mountain. This barbarian elephant ran wildly on the ground, causing the ground to tremble. Wherever the barbaric elephant passed, be it trees or boulders, they were all broken and smashed into pieces. The other gods dodged. If they were hit by the elephant, even if they didn't feign death, they'd be half dead. This lunatic! Some gods couldn't help but curse. He really won't wake up early without benefits. Man Yao, who was sitting on the throne, sighed. He finished the wine in his cup in one gulp, and the maids beside him quickly poured more wine for him. The dozen or so deities charged straight into the coiling dragon gorge, but it was completely silent inside. Not a single sound could be heard from within. It was as if the dozen or so gods had vanished into thin air. What's going on? Seeing this, the other gods who were about to intervene couldn't help but be shocked. Even Man Yao furrowed his brows. A trap? The same thought popped up in everyone's mind. Even if there was a trap, it couldn't kill a dozen gods at once. What kind of trap could kill a dozen gods silently?
You, and you, go in and take a look.
Man Yao pointed at the gods and ordered.
This?
The gods were dumbfounded. They didn't want to enter the coiling dragon gorge, but who dared to disobey Man Yao's order?
This subordinate obeys.
The four deities had no choice but to step forward. Who didn't know this third master's temperament? Whoever dared to disobey would be in danger of being beaten to death at any time.
Roar!
The four gods roared as they soared into the sky, revealing their true forms in the air. A rainbow-colored snake as thick as a water bucket appeared in the sky, directly diving into the coiling dragon gorge. That was the divine spirit of the heavenly serpent tribe, the seven-colored divine serpent. It was a true god-level divine serpent that was extremely powerful and poisonous. Even a heavenly god expert would die from its bite. As for the other three godly spirits, one was a black striped tiger, one was a tree demon, and one was a blood monkey. These three godly spirits were all true god rank. When the four great real gods took action, it was naturally extraordinary. A strong wave of primordial energy erupted from the four real gods and the surrounding fog was dispersed. These four true gods were very careful, but as soon as they entered the coiling dragon gorge, there was no sound. This caused the gods outside the gorge to be stunned.
What's going on? What the hell is going on?
The other gods couldn't stay calm anymore.
What?
Man Yao stood up from his throne. His eyes were filled with malice. Did the Black Mountain tribe really have this kind of ability? Could it be that the fella that defeated Xian Chong hid in the gorge and personally ambushed the seven-colored divine serpent and the other gods? If that was the case, then it wasn't an injustice for the 10 godly spirits and the 4 true gods from before. That fella even crippled a heavenly god like Xian Chong.
Young lord, this old servant will go and take a look.
At this moment, the old servant silently appeared beside Man Yao.
All right. Be careful.
Man Yao looked at the old servant and gave him a special reminder.
Yes, young lord.
After saying this, the azure-robed old servant disappeared like the wind without any warning. This time, in the mist-shrouded coiling dragon gorge, there was the dull sound of Yuan Qi colliding. However, this sound quickly disappeared.
What?
Man Yao waited anxiously for half an hour, but the old servant still didn't come out. He was shocked and furious. What kind of trap did the Black Mountain tribe set up in the coiling dragon gorge? No one knew better than Man Yao how powerful this old servant was. He was a half-step divine king, even Man Yao himself might not be able to take him down. A half-step divine king was trapped in the coiling dragon gorge just like that.
Kill! Kill them all! I don't believe that those fellas can stop my army!
Man Yao roared. Then the horns sounded, and the flags fluttered. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers began to charge into the coiling dragon gorge. The leader of the Soaring Wing tribe led the 5,000 Soaring Wing army and charged into the coiling dragon gorge from the sky. However, what happened next left Man Yao dumbfounded. After entering the coiling dragon gorge, the vanguard troops that were enveloped by the mist fell one after another. The 5,000 Soaring Wing army fell from the sky like dumplings. The 5,000 Soaring Wing army was annihilated just like that. Even the overlord of the Soaring Wing tribe was smashed into meat paste.
Retreat! Retreat! Mother asterisk cur!
Man Yao roared. He soared into the sky, arrived at the entrance of the coiling dragon gorge, and slammed his palm into the gorge.
Rumble!
An extremely powerful palm force erupted from his right palm, dispersing more than half of the fog that shrouded the entrance of the coiling dragon gorge. Within the coiling dragon gorge, the ground was littered with people. None of them were breathing, as if they were already dead, causing Man Yao to be infuriated.
You cowardly scoundrel! Do you dare come out and fight me?
Man Yao roared at the coiling dragon gorge. However, there was only his roar in the gorge, no one answered him. The coiling dragon gorge was able to stop the army of the barbarian Emperor City. Man Yao was infuriated, but there was nothing he could do. Even he didn't dare to enter the coiling dragon gorge.
Go get the heaven shaman priest!
Man Yao roared at his men.
Yes, city lord!
One of the men rode a divine eagle and soared into the sky, flying towards the barbarian emperor city. The heaven shaman priest was second only to the city lord Man Yao. Moreover, this heaven shaman priest was a heaven shaman of the shaman tribe. In southern Barbarian, the shaman tribe was very powerful. Even the barbarian emperor needed the help of the shaman tribe to maintain his rule. This time, the heaven shaman priest didn't follow Man Yao to attack the Black Mountain tribe. Meanwhile, in the depths of the coiling dragon gorge, a group of deities were lying on the ground like dead dogs, being watched by Tian Yuan and the others.
Master's formation is so powerful. It really stopped the army of hundreds of thousands.
A big bear shrouded in flames said.
Master is really awesome. I'm afraid he has a powerful background. We don't need to be afraid of Man Yao anymore.
Tian Yuan nodded. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.